What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is Agree to Disagree. Eagles winners 10 in a row. Best defense in the National Football League. And they can throw the ball. We're going to talk about it all.
Uncle Sweeps, Nick Delgado, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. Every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc. Make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal. Specialized physical therapy, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right there on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Greg Mlakovic, Nick Delgado, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in, baby. Welcome in. Crumb of the week at the end of the show. Early look at the Washington Commanders, right? Going down to Washington. We actually don't get on a plane for the period for the next 3 weeks. So nice sort of finish to our season in that regards. We'll talk about that game a little bit at the end of the show.
Games
we'll go
for
over
the
what we just watched.
Tommy.
Yeah, for the division too. Eagles Steelers post game. We'll give you our players of the game. We'll break down everything we watched. Obviously from today, another dominating performance from all levels. You know, the only thing you can say they didn't do a great job is running the football, but they just didn't. They didn't rush for 200, but they still rushed for 138 yards, I believe. But we got a lot to go over. And before we even get into it, I know there's going to be a lot of chest puffers. There's going to be a lot of people come in here and say, I told you so. Nobody told anybody so tonight. You might have told maybe your friend so, who never believed in the quarterback, or you might have told somebody else so, but nobody here ever said he can't throw the football, or he can't be good, or he doesn't win. Nobody ever said that on these airways that I remember. All right. There was question. The thing we continuously said is if he holds on to the ball too long, he struggles. And Tom Brady said the same damn thing tonight. And that's it. But it was a really, he played great. Before we even get into it, he played great tonight. All right. Played great. So before people even come out of the woodwork, that's the facts. Now let's talk about some other great things. The Eagles defense has been the best defense in the NFL. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation tonight. Let's talk about it. 10 in a row. Defense is dominant. Absolutely agree. It's the best in the NFL. Week to week, they do this. And we talked about it before we even came on the airways tonight. 2 fumbles in your own end. In your own end. And you hold a team to 3 points. A good football team. It's a 10-3 football team coming into town. This is what everybody tells you they're more physical. Another team that you would assume is more physical than you. Right? Baltimore, you would assume was more physical than us. They weren't.
Yep.
Pittsburgh, you would assume is more physical than us. They weren't. And I can't say enough great things. Even though they don't take the football away sometimes. They don't need to. They get off the field on third down like it's their job to do it. Like it's their job to do it. And credit to Vic Fangio, credit to the young players. Right? It is. Well, it's about time somebody did it. You know what I mean? It's about time somebody said, hey, you know what? Let me get off once in a while. It's not all about the turnover. It's about tackling. All right. It's about keeping guys in front of you, making routine plays. Like we say to baseball players all the time, do the routine shit. I'm sure Vic's a big believer in routine. So, right, at his age, I'm sure he's big routine oriented. And he's got young guys who bought into it. They really did. And, you know, from the bye week on, there's no question about it. And they've given up the least amount of points in football. The least amount of points in football. So if that doesn't make them the best in the NFL, I don't know what else will, too. And just your eyes on who they've shut down. Continuously say the Cincinnati game's big time. Okay. When you talk about Ravens, big time. Yep. Steelers, 13 points. That's big time. That's big time to hold Pittsburgh to 13 points, especially how the game started. And, I mean, you look up and down, you know, besides Jalen Carter being a bonehead at the end of the game, you know, he's a monster. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Nolan Smith's been really good. You know, you lose Brandon Graham, guys step up. Obviously, Dean and Bourne have been all over the field. Your safeties have been tremendous. Your corners have been tremendous. I mean, you can't say enough great things. But yeah, I think they're the best. I think they're the best. I think week after week, people may question it, and week after week, they prove it. And I don't know what they need to do more for everybody else out there in a defensive town to be excited that we got a defense, that we can say, listen, what do we hang our hat on? Great defense. So I'll go play you anywhere. You know, Detroit lost today. We're not the 1 seed. They still are. They have a better record in conference. They got to lose another football game. All right? And if you ask me if we can go there and win, yes, you can with a defense like this. That's all. With a defense like this, you can go there and win. I'm not guaranteeing a win. I'm just saying you can go anywhere and win. Anywhere you want to go, you can go and win. Right? With a great defense doesn't mean you're guaranteeing anything. I'm not. But that's how good they are.
Yeah, that's the same thing in the 4 majors. You know, you got a good goalie, you can go on the road and win. You know, you got good starting pitch and you go on the road and win. You know, you got a good defense in football, a running game, you go on the road and win. You know, basketball, the NBA is nobody cares about the NBA. If you can dribble handoff, if you can, you can win in the NBA.
If you get 53s in a game, you can win. If you get 53s in a game,
if you can just shoot 53s, Jesus.
Yeah, but I
one's hitting anything.
I agree with you. I mean, I think, you know, I don't think there's even a debate, and like I don't even know, it's not even close this year. So that's, you know, that's a credit to them. And I would say the closest to me would be the Chiefs. You know, I know they're winning by the skin of their ass and all that stuff, and it's not pretty. They just win football games, but their defense is good, right? Really but it's not Eagle level. But another, you know, Spags does a great job with them. You know, I'd say, you know, probably Eagles, Chiefs, without looking at any rankings, which I don't care about what jocks tell me. You know what I mean? Just my eyes looking around the league. It's Eagles head and shoulders, best defense in the league. Chiefs, then maybe Vikings. After that, I feel like it's just a mosh posh of crap. You know what I mean? I mean, you know,
you're probably spot on with
the Packers.
Yeah.
Maybe the Packers.
You'd be surprised. Denver's giving up the least amount of points too. At 247.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we've given up 247. So is Denver, which is shocking, right? I wouldn't expect Denver and only 247, but they got two damn good corners.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why.
And they won a bunch. They won a bunch in a row too. I mean, they're 9-5 now. So
yeah, they're good.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, they, you know, he's done a good job.
Yeah,
I know he's
you're
hate the face
right
guy.
by eye test. You're right.
He's
by
hate the face guy, but he's done a good job.
And Pittsburgh's a defense that's great.
Yeah. I don't want to take anything away just because the Eagles played them today. That's a good football. I mean, any team with a Watt on it on defense is outstanding. Is outstanding. Yeah. So, you know, they got some young guys. You know, young corners. You know, it's
Detroit isn't anymore.
It's tough to shut down. No, I mean, they get
too many big injuries.
Yeah. Too many injuries.
Big injuries.
Too many injuries, and which is not an excuse, but that's a great word Greg just used. I mean, you saw how the Bills ran the football today. Eagles could run for 500.
Yeah.
Changing 500. I mean, the Bills. It was easy. I mean, it was easy for them. So you know that's the last thing they want to see. The Eagles come to town. They're hoping that somehow the Eagles get upset. That's their, you know, they'll be doing seances and all kinds of Ouija boards and shit. They're hoping that the Eagles stub their toe somewhere. You know what I mean? They do not want that.
Nobody would want to play this football, this defense.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's so we got, you know, we're 2 agrees because you know when you're getting agrees like this already across the board, that it just tells you that the eyes ain't no joke, because again, they've shut down. They haven't just beaten, they've shut down great offenses. Yeah. Great offenses. Like you're holding pro offenses at 13 points. Like nobody does that shit. I say it every week. Nobody does it. Week in, week out.
I mean, shut out in the second half. He shut them, you know, shut them out in the second half.
They ran
11
really
have the ball.
In the second half.
I was just going to say, Greg threw that little nugget in that little Snapple effect. They threw that Snapple effect in there. They didn't have the ball in the second half, but, you know, listen, that's their own problem. You know what I mean? Like,
they did in the first. And
Najee Harris put it on the carpet, and that was it. That changed.
They had a lot more possession in the first, too, though, if you think about it, because of the 2 fumbles, right? And that's where a great defense shows up. On those fumbles is where they show up to hold you to 3.
Yeah.
2 fumbles, 3 points. That game's won right there.
Listen, a lot of football to be played. A lot of football to be played. But to me, they are the best team in football. All right, and they were a couple years ago too. No, I'm just saying they were a couple years ago, and this came down to the last play in the bowl. So I mean, the best team doesn't always win. We know that, but they were the best team that year. They were a juggernaut. And this year there's it was 2-2. There was some stuff going on, and it just looked like a lot of disarray. And then they just, like you said, ever since the bye, they just this team has taken off, and it's amazing. I mean, we always talk about you win in the trenches. You know what I mean? So you manhandle people that on offense, you manhandle people on defense. All right, you're the better football team. And then you sprinkle in all the skill guys. I mean, forget about it. You know what I mean? And it's just, they could, I think that's a great comment somebody just had. They choke you out. That's probably what it feels like. It probably feels like being captured by a python or an anaconda. You know what I mean? Where you're just like slowly lose your air. Slowly lose your airway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's suffocating on both sides, you know what I mean? And that's why, like I was joking with you guys, when you love Tom does a great job, you know what I mean? But 4th and 7, down 14, I'm not sure why you're punting there, Mike. I don't think you haven't had the ball the whole second half as it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you thought you could stop.
And you gave him the
I
ball.
don't know why
and
you could stop the Eagles.
Eagles like 10 minutes, 10 minutes and 40 seconds when they took the ball over.
Yeah. I don't
There's
know
10 minutes and 40
30
seconds on the clock.
30 seconds, yeah.
10:30, yeah. So, I mean, over 10 minutes on the clock. And
you thought you were going to hold them twice, and then you were going to get it back and score twice on the best defense in football.
You didn't get it back, period.
You know what I mean? So
you didn't get it back at all. 10-minute drive.
Like I said, I love the guy. He does a tremendous job, right up there. It's one of the coach, one of the front runners for Coach of the Year. But that's like I said, sometimes you gotta put the manual down and you gotta you don't have to be like Dan Campbell, all right? But there's times when you just gotta you gotta go for that there. You gotta go for that, Mike.
You have the feel. Get a feel.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys. I agree to the poll. I mean, you just look at. I mean, you held a team to 56 yards rushing and 128 yards passing, an NFL team, and only scored 13 points. Right? I mean, that defense is electric right now. And when the offense does put them in a bad spot, they find a way to hold them up, right? To hold them to 3 points, or like you said, 6 points with 2 turnovers, right? I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. And you could get them between the 20s, but once you get inside the red zone, they clamp down and they hold you to field goals. And that is so huge for an offense to sit there and be like, we know our boys got it, right? We know our boys on that side of the football are going to do their job and keep us in the game. Because how many times have we looked throughout this year, not just this game, but how many times have we looked throughout the year, how our slow starts, our defense has always been there to keep the game close, right? By getting a big turnover, by getting a big turnover like in St. Louis or the Rams game, right, early, and holding the field goals in times, right? That's what this defense does. And then, like Josh said, once we get a lead, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, and that's what elite teams do. On both sides of the ball, they'll make you come out of character. You know what I mean? And they're a well-coached team. But to your point of like holding teams for field goals, also self-inflicted. But that's when you come out of character because you're taking the heat and you're trying to beat King Kong. You know what I mean? They're down at the 2-yard line right there, and Austin comes in and takes a swing at somebody. All right. I mean, Schley got driven all the way back to the Ben Franklin Bridge. You know what I mean? So like, you know what I mean? Like, but whatever. I mean, good for him. All right. But then Austin comes in, throws his swings or pushes, whatever. Second guy got caught. And then that's 50. You can't be against the down and distance against this football team. They're just going to put their hand on the ground. They're going to come after you and they're going to make your life miserable. So you can't be, that was, for them, for the Steelers, that was a monster sequence for them.
Yeah.
It's amazing what made them elite too. The simple fact of like tackling.
Yeah.
the simple fact of like the most simplest fundamental when you start playing Pee Wee football is open field tackling, right? And as soon as because they weren't doing that the first 4 weeks, that's where they struggled.
They've
As
done it in years, right? Like,
if,
I mean,
think about it. It's
new
not
regime,
like
but they hadn't done it in years.
Well, yeah, we thought it was.
it's not like there's 10 pick sixes.
We thought it was going to be the same story as last year early on because they were doing the same thing. You know that the Bucks playoff game was the worst tackling, football, for worst display of tackling that we've ever seen. Even in Pee Wee football. So once they shored that up and they made some moves that did that. You know what I mean? And today's perfect. There's a lot of perfect examples, but Cooper DeJean, that I think that's that red zone tackle on Washington in open space is unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like, if he makes a miss, that's a TD.
Yeah, and just a little like usually you'll observe and rank when you're observing defenses, you rank them out by like, okay, this defense have 10 pick sixes this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not put them up there? Right? They're elite, or 10 forced fumbles, right? In a 10-game stretch, right? That are recovered. Like something that's just like, whoa, sticks out. They don't have that. And the fact that they don't have it and you can still say they're elite shows you Cooper DeJean being plugged into the lineup was such a big factor. He's an open field tackler, right? And it's the speed, and then it's the linebackers, it's the defensive front, and they stop the run. There's nothing like flashy about it. It's just they get it done. Mm-hmm. They get it done, and that's it's like a lunch pail, like lunch pail guys, right? And it fits the city, baby. You know what I mean? They lunch pail it up. They come to play, but it's a bunch of young guys too. Which even I say every week, which makes it more exciting is it can be for 5 years with the amount of young pups. Right? You can talk about, it can only get better. You would think it can get better.
Yeah.
Right?
And with that said, Tommy, like 2 years ago, we set the sack record, right? Like we were sack city a couple years ago. And now you lose Fletch, right? And you lose Fletch in the offseason. You don't know what you're getting so much from BG coming in. We knew the defensive line was going to be young, but were they going to be productive? And while the sack numbers aren't there, their production, though, is there, right? Because they are doing the job of eating up those offensive linemen and allowing Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean to go hunt, right? And to go just eat up tackles. So that while the sack numbers aren't there, just like the interceptions, the pick sixes, right? All that. While those pure defensive stat numbers aren't there, they're playing at just a huge monstrous clip at that front line.
No, they are. I mean, we talk about it, man. I mean, how many times, not to be repetitive, but Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, they're monsters, right? They were the anchors of a great defense. They're anchors in college, or anchors of one now in the NFL, right? Milt Williams has been really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Nolan Smith.
Paid.
Yep. And Nolan Smith's been really good. Zach Bond's been awesome. And Nakobe Dean's been awesome. So, Zach Bond and Milt Williams are going to get paid. And hopefully paid here.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully paid to stay.
Be nice.
So, because there's a lot of things, you don't want to, you can't, one of the two have to stay. So if you have to pick one, you probably take Bond and you just go draft a D tackle, right?
Yeah.
And that's right away you go. So we're not there yet. Let's not worry about that. Let's go win a goddamn Super Bowl. Right.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
But top to bottom, and then the defensive back, like bringing back CJ GJ. He's physical. Like we talked about, you needed guys who want to tackle, right? He wants to tackle, and we were on him early on in the year. A lot of open field missed tackles.
Missing some tackles, yep.
Yep, he's cleaned his ass up.
But
I mean, like you said, they're just
Reed's really good.
They're relentless.
Tackles. So everybody tackles.
They're relentless. They play through the whistle, and they're flying around for Vic and for each other, and it's really scary. You know what I mean? Like I said, like the one big play that the Steelers had should have been a touchdown. I don't know why Bond was chasing Austin, but he has no business.
Start the second half, yeah.
He has no business. That's not his responsibility. But he was like, oh shit. So he ran, forces a bad throw by Russell. And it's a 31-yard completion, but it's supposed to be a touchdown. You know what I mean? There's nobody there. Bond's the only guy there. You know what I mean? He gets there late just to get him, get him down. You know what I mean? But he that's not his responsibility. He could, he just he's going sideline to sideline. He's running them down. He's hoping for an underthrow so he can save the day. It's amazing. Well, usually he's been
Jalen
short-handed.
threw great in the first.
Obviously.
I want to say this too. Jalen threw great in the first, really in the first half. I thought he threw his best.
Yeah.
And he was decisive. So the best thing about Jalen today is decisive. And I think his comments, like we talked about pre-show, were more towards the reporters who are looking for drama week in, week out, like we talked about. Anybody with a clue knows AJ and Jalen are great friends. That's never changed. AJ was honest about a question on what can be better after 9 wins, and he said they're passing it because it could be, right? Because they throw at the start of every game. They run it better in the second half than they do in the first half. So what does that tell you? They throw it more in the first. And tonight was good to see. It was good to see chip on the shoulder come out and show you can play that way, because a lot of people said, can they win a Super Bowl this way? Yeah, you can win a Super Bowl rushing for 220 yards and throwing for $130 and your defense being this good. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, and that's why. And that's why it wasn't it wasn't that detrimental. You know what I mean? Because when you're close with somebody, if you don't have that kind of relationship, that obviously you guys saw that with McNabb and T.O. You know what I mean? So if you don't have that, that friendship coming in, or you don't have that dynamic, then something like that will derail you and not derail the team, but just derail that relationship. You know what I mean? Because listen, I know people want to spin it. He was pissed, and I'm not saying he didn't have the right to be pissed, but he took a shot at him. Right. But they're buddies. So maybe he said, hey, this will motivate him. I don't know. But he definitely took a shot at him. He wasn't talking about the passing game in general. He's talking about the dude throwing the ball. All right. And that's all.
I know that.
For last
I know
week.
that.
You know what I mean?
I was just saying.
We walked out with those guys. I mean, like
they're great friends.
You saw it. I mean, you've seen it. You've done. I've seen it on years ago. I mean, we played rough touch. You play on Thanksgiving. You've had good buddies. I can scream at you during a pick. You know what I mean? So and you scream back, and that's.
I mentioned it. I mentioned it on the show. I've had buddies like they're running routes, right? If they feel like they're open, and Brady said it today. I said it last week. But if guys are running routes and they feel like they're open, and they're not getting the ball, and they continuously have to run it and run and run, and they feel like they're not getting involved, and they think they're open, right? They're going to feel a certain way no matter how great of friends you are. So he absolutely said that about Jalen. No question about that. My point was they were great friends. So I don't take it as some big deal. I think it is.
A day later,
you nailed it. You nailed it. He knew that was going to piss him off and motivate him, but he knew it. Yeah. So obviously AJ knew what he was doing. And I like that Jalen responded to it in a big time win. I like after the first touchdown, AJ came all the way to him. Do a little celebration, right?
Yeah, he did a little dance. You know what I mean?
He did a little dance and kumbaya, right?
Like I said,
everybody's back. Everybody
it got work. Like I said, I know he's hurt, and we know he's hurt, and we know what kind of person BG is. BG was the guy that was out of pocket. You know what I mean? Like, you might not like what AJ said, and like I said, they're friends. So, hey, I want to motivate you. I want the football. You know what I mean? And God, great players do want the football. So, I mean, you can't really blame them. You know what I mean? When they're winning, the only reason it looks like in a loss, I don't have a problem with that comment. After you win, just say, hey, listen, we escaped today. I just do things different. That's all. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that my way's the right way. You know what I mean? But if that's in my face, I say, hey, we just got to be better, a little bit more better on offense. That's all. Right? Maybe a good window. You know what I mean? Thank God Leggett dropped the ball. Thank you. A good win in the National Football League. A win is a win. You know what I mean? Had they lost that game, had Leggett hung on to that, and you lose the game, then it's that's an explosive microphone. I get it. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
When you're winning, I don't like it. When you're winning, I don't like it. Doesn't mean, but again, I think you spoke about it on Wednesday, and we've talked about it in the chat. It's all true. It was truthful stuff. It wasn't like he was making anything up. So but I think he was just trying to light a fire under his ass, and he did. And like I said, I think the BG thing was more detrimental, because he's talking about, well, they used to be buddies and now there's a rift. Oh, whoa, BG, what's going on here?
Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
What are you doing, bro? Like, and then you got to go on an apology tour, the next 2 days following that because somebody called you and said, "What the hell are you doing, bro?"
Yeah, why did you say that?
Yeah,
like why would you even come out and say that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Like they never stopped being friends, and that's what we talked about on Wednesday. Like that never stopped. Like I don't know, like him saying that's stupid because that wouldn't stop. Like over not getting the football, he wants the football. And guess
they're
what?
undefeated when he plays. I mean, their 2 losses are games he was hurt, so
Yeah.
they're undefeated when he plays. Since he's been here, he's gotten his. You know what I mean? So he's, like I said, there might be a game where, I don't know what defense. I know it's hard for defensive coordinators. I get it. You know what I mean? The Eagles got a lot of weapons. You know what I mean? You want to double him, and then you're going to see Devontae do what he did today. So they're scary on both sides. So you just hope that they're clicking. You get through these next 3 weeks, whatever happens. And that's the thing about either team can stub their toe. And that's, that gets and that's what takes away. And it makes it interesting because there's only one bye. Had there been the 2 byes like normal, like years ago, I think they can get a little rest and but now I feel like, Detroit wins. They're both just going to go for it,
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and you have to.
Detroit's got
Yeah.
Detroit's got Minnesota. Detroit's got Minnesota last week of the season, right? So, it could easily come down to that where we're both fighting, scratching, and clawing for that game.
Yeah.
But listen, the Eagles showed today what we all knew they could do, which is they can beat you in a bunch of different ways offensively. Mm-hmm. They can beat you by throwing the football. We've said this all year, but they haven't needed to because the running attack is that elite. Yeah. Today was an opportunity to attack them in the air, right? Not big plays, and they were able to do that. So it's week to week on what you're playing, and this was Jalen's best game of the year in terms of getting rid of the football, especially early on.
And there still were, and I still think a lot of plays were left out there too, right? Because I think in the second half, I felt like he was holding on the ball a little bit more than he did early on. Right. And I think even the broadcast brought up that graphic that showed that. Yeah. Right. Early on in the game. You're right, Tommy, as you said earlier. I mean, he was zip, hit that back foot, and the wide receivers were anticipating where the ball was going to be. Right. And it was there on time. In the second half, a little bit different of a game, right? Game probably felt more lopsided than the score showed, but he was holding on to the ball more. And it was even though we were winning, it was still like, come on, let's go. Get back to what we were doing early on in the game.
And I think today showed, and it's not a popular, it won't be a popular take in here. And I think it'll be reality. Not because of the award, the history of the award, I get it. All right. And I've said it for weeks. I think the last 3 weeks separated that. Today, I think shows you why Barkley will be a runner-up. I still think it could be a 1 and a 1A, but today shows you that the Eagles are so dynamic. They can kill you. I think Tommy just, like Tommy said, they can kill you either way. And listen, he's been the dude for this team. I mean, it's been
100 every week.
He's been the guy. I mean, he's been the guy, and it takes nothing away from what he's done. You know what I mean? If he didn't get if he had 10 more touchdowns that weren't vultured from the 1 yard line, it's still they're 12-2. So it's not a 5-18 and the guy's vulturing and he's losing stuff. So they're you know what I mean? But if you add 10 more touchdowns or something and you wind up getting close to 2,000, then you got a conversation. But for me, and it's right now it's hands down Josh Allen. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
On the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. The last 3 weeks he's been unbelievable, and that takes nothing away. Which Barkley's awesome. He is unbelievable.
My only argument of him winning it is if he breaks the record, right? Like he needs some monster weeks, right?
Yeah.
And listen, they could all change too, right? Like he's a 200-yard game next week and a 3-tutty game from going back and maybe being a favorite in Vegas odds, right? because it's just the way he can shift. But I agree with you. I agree with you. This week proved it because he needed this week. He needed 100 on the ground again.
Yep.
He gets 100 and a touch. He's right where I want him to be in terms of being the MVP of the league. But,
or even if he was at the 65 but got in twice, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's
a little bit more
right?
mustard against a great defense. That's all my point is. Against a great
100%.
defense, I need more. And he was fine. He got hurt, right? Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But that kills him. That hurts your listen. Getting hurt.
No, it
hurts your chances.
And I know.
It's
but
simple.
It doesn't. It's one of those things where it's nothing against him or it's nothing he's doing. It's just what the other guys is doing. And listen, it's hard to say like, hey, what somebody else is doing is that much better than what Saquon's doing. I mean, I don't want to sound like an idiot, all right? I mean, like, or a hater, in this area. I told you, I said, dude is unbelievable. I mean, for weeks I was screaming he was the MVP, and he's like Tom said, it could switch on like that. But I mean, what Allen's done this year is just it's really special, and what Saquon's done is special. So that's why I said for a while it could be 1 and 1A, because going in, I don't know how many people picked the Bills. I know they were going to be who they are, but the sexy pick is the Jets and the Dolphins with their cuteness.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills were left for dead, and that's why some of these
wide receivers.
I don't know what some of these guys are talking about. Like, this is his best supporting cast. I think you might want to put the crack pipe down. You know what I mean? I was walking by on my way to take a squirt, and I believe it was Chris Sims. So we know he's well documented moron.
Yeah, he's a moron.
I mean, you lose Stephon Diggs, and this dude's number one
and
is
Gabe Davis.
This dude's number one is Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's Matt Collins. Matt Collins is number one. This guy walks around barefoot, walking on hot stones, hot coals. You know what I mean? That's his number one. Now James Cook is electric, but don't come on. So we're not going to get I want to get into a debate about that. Just or go down a rabbit hole. They've both been awesome, but right now it's Allen. I mean for me, but I've been wrong plenty of times.
Yeah,
No,
Bill, real quick. Bill, real quick question. He says, I heard we can't get the 1 seed. Even if Minnesota beats the Lions, they said, if that happens, Minnesota gets the 1 seed. Can we get the 1 seed? Well, maybe not, Bill. Maybe we need another Minnesota loss, right? Another Minnesota loss.
Yeah, they're sitting at 2 losses too. I know.
Right? Crazy. Minnesota lost before that game, which could happen because they play a lot of close games.
They play the Bears tomorrow. I mean, they should beat the Bears, but
it could be a close game, and who knows, division game. You expect Minnesota to win that game.
So yeah.
I love the 7 for sure, Greg.
But I have no problem. Right. I have no problem with the 2 seed, Bill. I have no problem even with the 3 per se, because at the end of the day, then I'll get my bye week 18. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense, because I just need a bye somewhere. Because like I said, with a great defense, I'm not scared about going on. Would I rather have 2 games instead of 3? Yeah, of course I would. But that being said, if I don't get it, it's not like I can't go to the Super Bowl. It's not like there's no chance of going. No, I got to get my bye week 18. Got to get guys off their feet a little bit, and rest guys up. Because my bye came early in the year, and now I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that was my point a couple minutes ago. Like, that's without 2 buys. It's and these two, won 11 in a row going in today, and the Eagles won 10 in a row. So both heavyweights just slugging it out, trying to get that 1 seed, and it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna force both teams to go down to the wire these next 3 weeks, and you would like a puff at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that's
especially
a long
with
season.
week 5
season. Yeah, it's a long season, man. So
But you would hope you would know before week 17.
But like you said,
you're not fighting.
Yeah.
You don't want to be fighting week 17,
but
thinking there's a chance you can get it, and you don't get it week 17, and now you didn't have any bye.
Well, I think you 100% hit it. You 100% hit it on the head. Week 18 is a bye. You couldn't lose to the Giants if you played the backups, right? So you run out a 24-0 lead, 28-0 lead, all right, and everybody gets the second half off. You know what I mean? That's what
they want to lose too.
That's the way I look at things.
Yeah, they want Cam Ward.
They want to lose too, the Giants. So, listen, Joe, I can't agree with you more. That's why we're talking about bye weeks and this, that, and the third because, he says, great win. I just hope Dickerson, Lane, and Saquon get healthy. Couldn't agree more. And this is where I need to find the bye week somewhere because we can win it all. Because listen, you get a bye week 18, you go rattle off 3 in a row. All right, then you get another bye for the Super Bowl. So
Vikings got 3 tough games. Sorry, Tom.
What do they got? Chicago. Who else?
Just to cover. They got Packers in Seattle. Packers, Lions. That's a tough sled.
Yeah.
After Chicago.
Seattle. See, they got to go to Seattle, which they're fighting for their lives because tonight's in Elski. I think home against the Pack, and then
the Lions.
Yeah, home against the Pack, and then the Lions in Detroit.
Well, you need a Packers loss going into the Lions, and then we can get the 1, and then Seattle, Minnesota beats Detroit.
So Seattle beats
Detroit stubs their toe.
So Seattle beats them next week.
And Detroit's got at Chicago, on the road at Chicago, on the road at San Fran, and then home versus Mini.
Yeah, it's a Monday night game in San Fran. So
yeah,
I mean, listen, we have the easier of the schedule. Bill says, Tommy, I agree, keep them playing. We get Washington, Green Bay. We'll go to Detroit. So number 2 might work out better if Green Bay won. We'd be home.
We'd be home to the Super Bowl.
Home to the Super Bowl. Yeah, there's ways. There's ways to be home. Too. Yeah, we play the Commanders next week.
And with the way Detroit's played the last few weeks, there's no guarantee that they're walking and sweeping the board either.
No,
right? They were begging for a loss, and they finally ran into probably the MVP, right? On his warpath.
Yeah, we're fighting for this. We're still fighting for this one because we think we're the best team in football. And if you believe like you're the best team in football, or at least the best team in your conference, say, right? Which I believe we are the best team in the conference. I won't say we're better than Kansas City, even though I feel like they get lucky. They still win, right? So, and they're
we'll see what happens with that.
Detroit's way better than Kansas City, but they're the champs. And listen, they are. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I wouldn't say like you're stupid for saying that, but I think the Lions are better than the Chiefs. But listen, they find ways. I mean, they find ways.
Yeah, I do think they are too.
They find ways.
But Detroit.
That's an ankle sprain for.
But yeah. But I would say right now that the Eagles are better. I mean, weeks ago, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago when we said, it was. Well, I haven't been on in a while, but it was, Detroit was. Detroit at that time. I think at that time we were talking Detroit and Baltimore being elite, and then the Eagles were the next tier, Bills, Chiefs, teams like that.
Eagles, Bills now.
Now the Eagles flipped that. You know what I mean? Like they're they flipped that.
Yeah, list of teams I don't want to face in the playoffs. Joe says 1, the Buccaneers. That's it. Yeah, I agree.
And they're about to win their division now again too. Or they're close to it at least. I think they're leading their division.
Yeah, listen, playoff football, like we always alluded to, you're not scaring anybody, especially with this defense. So it doesn't come down to being scared. It's just about, tough matchups. I think the Eagles Packers would be a tough game. Packers are tough. I hadn't played them since week 1. In a foreign city. It was a good football game. Eagles gotten ton better since, and the Packers have gotten better. So that would be a good game. Vikings don't really scare you. Flores done a good job with that defense.
Yeah, defense is good.
And the wideouts are really, really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ferguson and Addison.
You gotta hope your guys are.
And hockey's back, so they're good on offense. But the X factor is Darnold. You know what I mean? Like he used to see ghosts like with regular defense. So I mean, this is like Scooby Doo and the Mystery Machine when the Eagles come to town.
Scooby, I got him out front.
He's all kinds of shit.
No, that's great. Hit that like button too. We got over 80 people watching on YouTube. 33 likes. Come on, get it up. Let's go. Big win this week. 10 in a row against a damn good football team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody talks how physical they are. We out physical the physical football team again. Again we did. That's how good we are.
Yeah,
so
let's
lock in.
Eagles aren't going to get bullied. Yeah, Eagles they never get bullied. So that's a good recipe to win a lot of football games. They never get bullied. And that division's probably the most physical. Right? that division is the most physical in football.
Yeah.
So that's where
Wow.
that's where that comes from. You know what I mean? So then,
show with that.
so then you try to come, you try to take on the Eagles, and you hope that you're going to bully the bully, but it doesn't work.
It's great. It's a great thing you just said right there, because before the show started, I was like, oh, I'm going to open the show with that's the most physical conference in football, not conference, sorry, division in football, right? And we've dominated that division.
Yeah.
Right. We've out physical them, every one of them. And for you to say that's perfect. Nailed it. And all the arguing back and forth with Jalen this, Jalen that. If you're a true Eagles fan, you don't hate Jalen Hurts. Okay. So if any true Eagles fan out there never hated him, we're critical of certain weeks when he holds the ball too long and doesn't get rid of it to elite wide receivers. So that's welcome to football if you dislike that, even when you win sometimes.
Yeah.
And we know that we can win by throwing the football.
Yeah.
But we also know we have top 3 MVP guy in Saquon Barkley and a home run hitter in him.
And sometimes
and a great offensive line and a quarterback who can run. So when you have all those things, you try to use them all. And when you use them all, you win a lot of games like we have. Who gives a shit how you win them?
Yeah, and sometimes you get spoiled, because you want to, you expect perfection, not you, just in general. From the organization, it's been a winner for a long time. So you expect greatness, and you expect certain level of play, from every position, and you get a little bit spoiled. You look around the league, and you wouldn't trade places with a lot of people. There's a lot of horrendous quarterback play. All right, so just to
no, and I can switch. Let me tell you something. I don't care if my guy, real quick. I don't care if my guy looks just like okay, and he's just a winner. I'm good with that year in, year out. I'm good with my guy being like, oh, he looks okay, but he just wins. And every year you look at the score, you look at the records, go to the standings, and we're sitting there 12-2, right? We're sitting there 11-3, and all my guy does is win. I'm good. I'm good, right? Like it's about winning. It's about winning, and he is complimented with guys to help him just do that too.
Yeah,
but he also brings a skill set that not everybody brings, which is the ability to run the football.
Yeah,
and when you bring that and you allow him to do it, it helps you win. And they've allowed him, and I think he's healthier than he was last year too, because obviously he stopped running the football last year. There was something to that.
Yeah,
and I think him running the ball more this year shows he sort of, because remember he looked slow.
Yeah, he looked lethargic at times. Yeah,
he doesn't look as slow this year. So that's a bonus. But listen, he's a playmaker. To me, he's not a 35 drop back quarterback that's going to be perfect in the pocket all the time. Sorry, I ate a hoagie before.
No, absolutely.
And it's coming up. You know what I mean? I ate a hoagie beforehand, and it's coming up every time I'm yelling and screaming. But there's no divide when it comes to Jalen, man. Like it's just we're trying to win. We're trying to win. He's a winner, and we can deal with some of the other stuff. But when we demand a little bit more because we know we can, you can't blame us for that either. Can't blame us when we see it and we ask for it more often and people say, that's what I don't want.
No, absolutely right. And that main factor, the winning, right? I think somebody put it on there. I think what is Sirianni now, like 52-19 now, 46. Right? Like, something like that, 46-19, something ridiculous, right? And Jalen Hurts is a huge part of that, right? Jalen Hurts and his ability to win, or go on big drives.
Right? Under Nick.
But you like we said, right? In the second half, we went on a 7-minute drive to start the second half. We went on a 6.5-minute drive in the middle of the, I don't know where that was. It was the fourth quarter. That was the end of the third, early fourth. And then we went a 10.5-minute drive to end the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With 2 series from them at a total of seven plays. One, of course.
It's like I said,
one was a punt. right? But that's Jalen, right? He's leading that offense in the huge drives.
Oh yeah, I mean, having a bunch of
They were all point drives too.
A bunch of huge third down passes, third down conversions, where they picked. Like I said, they were 11 for 18 on third and fourth down.
Yeah,
you got to get them in
11 for 18. I mean,
you got to get your team in the right play call too.
Yeah,
right. There's factors of being a quarterback too, right? Of knowing of just doing it the right way. Just doing it the right way.
I mean, talking about moving the football. I mean, it's just, we know what we watch, but I mean, 26 first downs. Jeez and crackers. All right. And the Steelers had 10. I mean, that's a bludgeoning. I mean, I think Greg said earlier, it probably should have been uglier than 14. You know what I mean? Like it felt like
it felt
like they were up by 30. You know what I mean? Like that's just, there was never a threat. I mean, I know, we said Najee put it on the carpet, in the possible tying drive, but I don't think there was.
Just hit a parlay.
Yeah.
That Charbonnet touchdown.
Oh my God! It was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
I just checked the score.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm not watching. I got the show on the TV, show on the phone.
I should have known.
Oh.
Should have known. But yeah, he broke. It was like a 30-yarder.
150 bones. Boom.
Nice.
30 order.
It was Watson over 50. Watson over 50 yards. JSN over 50 yards, and then Jacobs Charbonnet tutties.
Jacobs fumbled, and then I think the next play, Sharby broke one.
Josh says there's only 5 other QBs who have ever gone on 10-game win streaks. Jalen has, and he isn't even 30 years old yet, and that's impressive. That's absolutely impressive. And Sham said Jalen is undoubtedly our guy. Anyone saying anything different, especially on our fan base, needs to put the crack pipe down. That I completely agree with, because throughout it all, like at least A2D, and I think we've been clear about it, that he's our guy, right? So, I see guys online that are like, they're overcritical, like he's not the guy, and say he's not the guy at times. I don't notice that here, but he's done exactly what we asked him to do.
Yeah.
Over those 9 weeks, which is not turn the football over. Right? That's what we asked him to do. And we asked the attempts to be at 25 a game. And, we were doing that, but there wasn't any rhythm with that.
Yeah.
Right. But there was rhythm with the run game. And now today we had a ton of rhythm early, connecting on those, in my opinion, easy slants.
Yeah,
there's easy slants.
With AJ and Devontae, that's all you should be doing.
I feel like I could throw them slants. They're that open. And I'm like, man, how do you not? In my head, I'm like, I'm 42. I feel like, maybe the NFL ball, maybe I can't. You give me something a little smaller for the hands.
You got tiny hands.
Little Goffy like?
Yeah, a little Jared Goffy, I guess. Tommy Goff. But no, all jokes aside, you just watch it. You watch the replays, and you're like, oh my God, he's wide open on that side.
Yeah.
And because that's how explosive they are, the two of them down the field, they got to respect it. So you get those easy ones. And I didn't think last week, I thought there was times last week he threw the ball well. The touchdown to Devontae was a good ball. So it's nobody says he can't throw good balls, or the one to AJ early in the game was a really good ball. The back shoulder. Brady nutted up on it too, right? You heard Tom get hard as a rock. But the slants, it's dude, if he can just see him. And last week it felt like he just couldn't see him or something.
Yeah, or he just couldn't pull the trigger, right?
Yeah. But guys have weeks like that too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit. You have weeks you don't see the field well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not making an excuse. So if you escape with a win, it's a Carolina week, I can see you being a little off track.
With Pittsburgh coming in, right?
Yeah, I can see.
The divisional leader.
We had two big
they were coming off a bye as well, right? I think Pittsburgh was coming off a bye, or did they play last week? I can't remember.
They beat up Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
In divisional bye.
Yeah.
With that defense.
Yeah.
It's so bad. But this football team's awesome. And it's fun to watch, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun that you knew that all that this week, all the drama made up by local media, national media, was all put to bed today. Unlike last year, when stuff started getting out and it went the other way. Today was a statement day for that.
Yeah,
that's what's exciting about today. What's exciting about today is that little BG thing and everything after that didn't ruin anything. It made it better.
Yeah,
and that's important. It's important. It's important win today. It's like it should be a Super Bowl win. It's like a Super Bowl.
3 weeks, 3 weeks left, and however long, 3 weeks in the regular season, and whatever the playoffs are going to entail. You got to finish. You got to finish, or what I mean, because this team's built. We know how this team's built, and but every season's different. You know what I mean? So you never want to look like, hey, listen, we're young, we're young in these positions, we got stars in these positions. You know what I mean? Like when you got a chance, when you got the best defense in football, when you got the best offensive line in football, when you got arguably the top 3 offense in football, you know what I mean? If they're definitely not past 4, you know what I mean? So it's either they're either 3. They're either three or 2 or 1. They could be any 1, 2, 3 can be interchangeable. You know what I mean? Like Lions,
on any given week.
Lions, Eagles, Bills could be interchangeable. You know what I mean? And I think people were saying that about the Ravens a couple weeks ago, and I guess you can they're in the top 5 too. So so you have all those things in your favor that you created on your own. It wasn't like somebody handed them to you. This is the culture they created. This is the team they built. So. Now you have to finish. And there's a lot of football left, but you have to finish, right? Because that's what you play for. You don't play for to talk shit during the regular season. You don't play for to win a road playoff game. You play for the parade. You play to hoist it. You know what I mean? You play for the guy next to you. So and that's and we'll see how the next month and a half shakes out. It'll be exciting to watch, and it's going to be, can't wait for playoff time.
Yeah, it's so close.
Yeah.
You guys are right out there, Jose, and Wayne brought it up. And,
yeah.
Dubba brought it up. Nolan Smith. Yeah, Nolan Smith has been really good. Big signs of life. Obviously, it's continued to develop and doesn't look like it's a miss first round pick, right? And another Georgia guy on this defense that, just makes the case again, and again, over and over and over again, that, guys from that pedigree of great defense that was down there, over that course of 2 or 3 years in Georgia, it's proven that it translates to this level. Sure. That's all. It's crazy. Like up the middle translates. The line translates. You say Jordan Davis is not a bust. He's not Kyle Hamilton, right? But he's not a bust,
right?
Right. So it's like there's 2 ways to look at it. He's not Kyle Hamilton. No, that guy is special, and he shows it because the position he plays sort of allows it to show a little bit more too.
Yeah.
But in terms of the run game, dude, that dude clogs. He clogs.
Oh,
he's not a boss. He's just not flashy, right? It's just not flashy. Now, you put a gun to my head, I'd rather have Hamilton. But again, guy's still not a bust of the pick. It's not Jalen Rack.
Yeah, Hamilton, you're probably not. You don't have Reed or CJ, right? It's all.
Yeah. So
it's all. Yeah. But you're absolutely right, though. To your point, role. He's not a bust.
Do your role. I mean, like I said, there's a place in the league for guys. You can't have 53 superstars. I mean, that's not how it works. There's a place in the league for guys to do their job. Rest in peace, Tony Saragusa. Very, very similar. I mean, Goose played longer, but I'm just saying a guy that wrecked havoc inside, nothing sexy besides the sound bites and just an awesome dude. You know what I mean? But Halati Noda, very again,
Halati Noda, great
one. Guy who's done it for a long guy that did it for a long time. So I'm not saying he's in that, but he's in that, he's in that mold. I mean? He's not those guys, I mean? But, he has the potential to be those guys. It's not, it's not going to, It might not be the best player on defense, might not be, the sexy player, but, a guy that comes in there and stops the run, and causes havoc and control a double team. All right. And that's what opens up other holes. When a guy draws a double team, all right, guess what? Somebody else has got one-on-one.
That's what makes it. That's what makes
Can't
it
double
such a
everybody.
problem.
Can't
That's what
double
makes-
everybody. Somebody's got a
that's what makes it
one-on-one.
That's what makes it such a problem. Because going back to Georgia, those two guys in the middle, and now they're both here, Carter and Davis. Who do you double, right? Because that's what creates problems for offenses, and it's a big part on why you're holding teams. You have the least amount of points given up in football, and it's why you suffocate teams. It's just why they do it. It's a big part of it. All starts in the middle, and their two middle guys are awesome, and then it goes to your linebackers. How good are your linebackers? And Bourne looks like an all-pro, right? And Nakobe looks like the guy he was in Georgia, which was the captain of that defense. That was, again, the best defense in college football in a decade. So maybe even longer. Who knows? But a great one.
It's
in
crazy
modern-day
because,
football.
you could probably make an argument for Bond for Defensive Player of the Year.
You could. He's been
You know
awesome.
what I mean? Like, he's
awesome.
been that good. He won't win it, but you can make an argument for him.
I mean, today, not a great one because he only had 5 tackles, right, Greg? Like today, obviously not ideal. 5 tackles.
Probably not the right week to say that.
but to the point, he's been awesome, right? He's a guy that has, he has 80 solo tackles. Yeah. So think about that. And he has 129 total tackles.
Total tackles, yep.
So that's crazy. And Nakobe, and this goes to the point. Nakobe's got what? 106 total tackles, 67 solos. Mm-hmm. So those two guys, because of Carter and Davis, and even Milton Williams, those two guys get the freedom to roam around and have some fun and clean it up. And that's the proof. There's the proof right there.
To your point, like I said, I don't think it's an outrageous thing to say at all, because when you look around, to me, what I would do with the eye test is you look at look at every team and look for the guy that stands out. So, like, if we're talking about defense, look for a guy that stands out. You know what I mean? So, when you play the Steelers, TJ Watt stands out like a sore thumb. Mm-hmm. When you play the Eagles, they got a lot of good players, but this year, Bond stands out. He stands out. He stands out.
It's been 2 guys, right? Jalen Carter and Zach Bond.
Yeah, I would even say Nakobe. He's really stood out to me, maybe because I'm looking at him a lot, just to see his progression.
Yeah.
But, or maybe just because I can't believe we have 2 linebackers over 100 total tackles. Like,
what's up, Eddie? Yeah, I'm assuming maybe. I'm obviously sorry, Tom. I'm just going to answer that. I'm speculating. I'm thinking maybe. Sirianni said something about the penalty, and maybe the coach should get the hell out of here. I don't know. I can't see him. Maybe they have that kind of relationship where he can talk back to. I don't know. But I thought it was strange too, Eddie. I was like, everybody gets in the heat of the battle. I don't know if he was defending this guy. That's a good way to become unemployed as the D-line coach. If you get too froggy with your head coach, you'd be on the unemployment line. He's not Jeff Stoutland. But maybe, but like I said, that's just me speculating. That was after the penalty, so maybe Sirianni said, "What the hell are you doing?" I don't know. I have no idea.
I missed something. I had a crazy house here today. What happened with that penalty? That we kept the ball? Did they deem it after the punt?
Yeah, after.
Like it was an after the play time.
Yeah, not sure how that was after.
Yeah, it looked like it was in the middle of the play.
Yeah, not sure how that was after because I came right into you guys and said, "Oh, idiot!"
Yeah, we were like, "What are you doing, idiot?
What are you doing, Jalen? What are you doing? Like the game's over. What are you doing?" And Eddie, of course, ESPN's going to show it 7 times, just like they made a big thing of AJ and Jalen because they love it. They want to make a big thing of nothing. The guy's his godfather. We're talking about godfather talk, right? Jalen's the godfather of the baby. He's the godfather of the baby. Like those guys can't hate each other ever. You know what I mean? They're everyone's locked in and love each other.
That would be my guess. That was. I'm assuming that's
Sweeps. That's exactly what it was. He went over to say something to Jalen Carter. The defensive line coach tried to stop him, and obviously Sirianni probably didn't like that. We know his ego at times, so he probably didn't like being stopped because he wanted to probably tell him like, "What are you doing?" And he has every right to. That's
And
the
that
head
dude's
coach's
a
job.
unit.
And he's a unit.
That dude's a unit.
Yeah, I don't think.
No, the Big Dom wasn't even like Big Dom was probably like, dude, knock
Big
it off.
Dom was
Like,
behind him.
yeah, Big Dom was like, Nick, knock it the fuck off, dude. I'm supposed to protect you. This guy
I ain't
holds
winning
up,
this battle.
this guy holds up mountains. This guy blocks the sun. All right, cut the shit, Nick. All right, yeah, he wanted no parts of that.
Bill, we said we don't need to start the starters versus the Giants, and we still can win. So, to answer your question,
Kenny Two Gloves time.
well, yeah, we're definitely going to beat it too, Josh. Most likely.
Yeah, you beat the Giants with practice squad guys. So
well, we're gonna have the opportunity to be the one still, guys.
Romeo with a second touchdown.
Everybody, calm down.
Oh, that sucked.
You playing against Romeo?
No, I have a Watson ladder going. I need more Watson yards.
Yeah, I'm an idiot taking. I'm an idiot taking the points tonight, like a hero. Like I should know better.
Oh, my pick'em week this week with the spread was disastrous. I got too cute.
Gino got hurt. Tommy and Sam Howell.
Yeah,
just threw a pick.
Yeah, I saw Gino walk to the locker room. Read some more of the comments. Yeah, I mean, Bill, it might not even come to that game though, because there's so much more. There's so much more before that game. Yeah, I mean, you could say it's crazy about this defense. You could say our opening line in Washington is 2.5. Well, who's 2.5? The Eagles are probably minus 2.5, is my guess. Eagles are probably favored in that game.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Let me see.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt it.
No, it's 3.5. Eagles minus 3.5 is the opening
Maybe
line.
people already jumped on it then, if that's what Bill got first.
Yeah, Yahoo says 4.
Okay, ESPN bet has 3.5. So the only reason I'm looking that up is because that's the site I was already on. And questionable Landon Dickerson, only guy on the injury report, questionable
Right now. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that injury coming out, and then Steen got 2 calls right away on him. I'm like, why the hell is Steen in the game?
Yeah. Well, by the way, what a great catch by Dobbs right there too.
Yeah, that's a great catch.
That's finger 50. Oh,
I thought the second one on Steen was
I thought he got killed. Like he was getting killed.
He was getting close too, yeah.
Hayward choked him out.
Yeah.
He just tried to put his arm out to say, I need some oxygen here. You know what I mean? They called him for a half. They called him for a hold. I'm like, what? The guy choked me.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on here?
This is what's amazing, right? Like when you go through this, okay, after the bye week, 16, 3, 17, 23, 6, 18, 20, 19, 16, 13.
Yep.
That's the points given up by this defense.
It's stupid.
Like in today's NFL, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And when you look at the teams too, right?
And three really good offenses in
Cincinnati, 17.
I don't take anything away from the NFL, but 3 really good offenses. All right. So that's why you definitely wasn't a bunch of tomato cans. You know what I mean? We know the Bengals stink on defense, but they got an elite offense. The Ravens, everybody's talking about the Ravens being the best offense ever. Now, Tucker cost them 7 points, which turns into 26. Not saying that was going to make them win, because then that changes the game and Eagles could have came down and won, whatever. But he cost them 7 points. So that 19 could have been 26, but it wasn't. So there is no coulda, woulda, shouldas. And obviously the Rams, the Rams have a tremendous offense. You know what I mean? So it's 3 really, really good offenses in that span. I don't take anything away from Pittsburgh. I mean, no Pickens.
Yeah, it hurts them.
That hurts them. But still,
Washington's solid.
An offense that was playing.
Offense still.
Yeah.
Not great, but solid. 18 points. That's another good one I'd put. Dallas, the only reason I don't count it as 6 is because that was the first game he played. And when you're talking about a backup, first games are never good, in my opinion, for guys. And he's played better, obviously, as he's played. I always think that first game's a little tough for backups sometimes. just rhythm wise, getting their timing with guys.
No, you're right. They're a moronic play away from being a 7-8 or what is, I think 7-8, right? I mean, last Monday night, that's the worst play you can imagine in football. I mean, they teach you that in Pee Wee football. A blocked kick, get away from it. Dude tries to pick it up. You know what I mean? So to Tommy's point, yeah, he's Cooper Rush is playing better.
They held the Giants to 3.
They were fantastic.
Dallas to 6.
Yeah.
Right. So even the bad teams, right, you were shutting them down. Like you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, they were fighting for their lives back then. You held them to 23, but that was like the Saquon fumble. So that's not. I remember that game. So that wasn't even Saquon fumbled to the house for a tutty. So you really held them.
16-0. It was
you held
16-0.
You held them under 20 because that was a defensive score. Like I said, all the other under 20s is crazy. It's so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. You take out the Jacksonville Saquon tutty, right? Return to the house for a touchdown. That is 10 straight weeks of your opponent under 20 points.
Jags took one to the house that night?
No, Jacksonville did.
No, the Jags took one to the house that night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Saquon.
That fumble.
And the guy took it to
Where
the
he got
house.
touched.
I believe you. I got that.
Yeah, so if you take out that game, that's actually crazy. I didn't even know that. So go back to the poll. Sorry, circling back, guys. Like goodness gracious. So the poll.
Just think about how good your offense is. So if you were to say like you're gonna let up under 20 points a game, how many wins you're gonna have? I with that offense, I would feel safe to say 15-1, and they're damn close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had you like you said, had we hypothetically said that like in August and just shooting a breeze, like hey, new defensive coordinator, and you feel like if if you give up less than 20 points a game, how do you feel this team would be? I mean, I think
it would be
pretty damn good.
You're a drop away. I mean, you're a drop away because then Atlanta doesn't have 22 points, so you're a drop away.
Yeah.
When we're at 19, right? So they were never got to 22. So
yeah, they've been lights out. They've been absolutely lights out.
So if you think about that too, the Atlanta game would have been under 20 as well. Yeah, sweeps. Right. I say I don't lose a playoff game if I hold my opponents to 20 or under. I should not lose a playoff game unless I play Tampa. Because they'll hold me to 17 somehow. Because they always do. But outside of that, like I find me a loss. Bill says, the same question. No, it's not. Sorry. Yeah, if Saquon caught the ball, right, or the right plays ran there, we would be the 1 seed. Game of inches.
I feel like though that play was a turning point in the season. So while we all sit here and say it, because we say it all the time, I feel like if we're 2-0 at that point, we don't get the kick in the ass at the bye, right? We think all things is rainbows and blowjobs.
Well, why would we not get the kick in the ass in the bye? It was 2 weeks after that. We didn't go to the bye to week 5.
Right, but we went to the bye 2-2 as opposed to 3-1. You go to bye 3-1, you're not as the city's not as down, right? We're not as down. The team's not as down.
You do if you lose 33-16 to the Bucks again. You do.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's more of an understanding because of everybody being out that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
J3, yeah, they do. Yeah, the tiebreaker goes to the Lions. I thought the Eagles might have had the tiebreaker, but they do not.
Just went out. Detroit's going to lose out. Dan Campbell's going to cost them again.
And then need the Vikings to lose a game too, though, which we alluded to earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, my Sirianni hate earlier in the year was I'm glad he took that personal. Shaved his head and
went full on Brittany.
Credit to him. Listen, credit to him and his team because they rallied around him. Starting that first Giants game, they showed they were playing for their coach, which is never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. So I'm glad. And listen, you can't say anything bad about Nick anymore because, again, all he does is win. So when you're talking about this long of a stretch of winning, it's hard to say anything. Now, that's regular season. You might have things to say after the postseason, right? If you don't end up, you can have great regular season and be the 1 or 2 seed every year, but then you know what the focus shifts to.
Got to win.
Then you got to win.
Because that was Andy, right? Obviously, right? We knew that was Andy.
Yeah.
We were going to be a 1 or 2 seed with Andy.
We were going to have a chance. We were going to have a chance every year.
Yeah. 2-2 was a long time ago, and that's why I said to you guys earlier, like, you got to finish, right? You got the best defense in football, and you got a top 3 offense. There's no excuses. That's it. And you possibly could have home field. So that's it. I mean, that's just,
and at worst, you're going to a dome.
Let's be blunt. Let's be matter of fact about it. Yeah, let's be blunt about it.
At worst, you're going to a dome, whether it's Detroit or Minnesota.
Yeah. Like, I think to a man, everybody said they ain't scared of nobody. A lot of chest pumping. It's when you're the big dog, when you're bullying people, that's what you do. So yeah, there ain't no excuses, man. This isn't last year's collapse or the roster is not good enough, or I told you the roster wasn't good enough. Okay, this is every bit of now they're playing probably better than we thought. I don't know if anybody thought this defense was that good. I thought they had the capability of being good. And I know Tom said that, and you guys and Greg and you guys all alluded to it. Yeah,
we're hoping top 10.
They made good signings. They made tremendous signings, and I don't think anybody thought Bond was going to play like this. I mean, if you did, go play the lottery. You know what I mean? Like, you thought.
Yeah, right. No, 100%.
So
we were like, hopefully top 10 defense.
Yeah.
Right. If they're top 10, we knew we could be really good. And that's where I sort of had them. Top 10. That's where I got 13 wins from. 12 wins, 12, 13 was where I was at. Because I thought they were better, but it really came to 13 wins because of this offense, right? Because of Saquon. Like this year, Saquon, I'm like, if he's healthy, I don't know how we don't score 30 a game. Now, we've been close to that most weeks, right? If not over it. Most weeks we scored a lot of points. I don't really have an issue with our offense. The Carolina week was a down week for us. But most weeks we're pretty good offensively. Just not in the first quarter.
Yeah.
But I messaged you guys earlier on too, because I just felt it. I'm like, we get the hot start. The whole fan base wants a hot start. Hot. Gotta start hot. They get a hot start and they let their foot off the gas and lose. I was feeling that. I was feeling that before the half. I was feeling it.
Well, and it looked like the way too, right? That whatever 4 or 5 minutes to end the half was absolutely horrendous, right?
Yeah.
Like it happens, right? But that, especially with us getting the ball, like we definitely mismanaged that whole end of half. Get the ball, start the second half scenario. Like we got nothing out of it.
Well, then we ran in the locker room with like 22 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we running in the locker room for? Like, you're a big play away. You're a big play away from a possible field goal. I know Jake hasn't made a 50-yarder, but it doesn't mean you can't try.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you just pack it in and go.
Like, I'm not going to say you're wrong. You're getting the ball at half. I get it. You take a sack. You don't want to take another one. Maybe cause a fumble. I guess I get it to a point. Always ballsy and then not ballsy.
Yeah.
No, that Washington game's going to be a great one, though.
Yeah. I know it's week to week, but, I don't see anything in them right now. I mean, they let the Saints back. I mean, they say they should have blew out the Saints today.
Yeah.
They should have blew them out, and they let them back in. And they've done that the last few weeks, too. Like, they get up or they get into an early lead, and then they just drop back into whatever and let the teams back in.
Yeah, I can see it's being down 10-0 and winning 27-17.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could just see it happening next week. They're
Yeah,
good.
It's usually the opposite with that rivalry too. Like usually they'll come in here and win, and the Eagles will go up there and win. It's
Yeah.
weird. These last couple of years, had that feel to it. I don't know the exact numbers, but
No, but they traditionally do play us tough for sure.
Yeah, and we obviously got game one here. We got to go there next week. But it's going to be tough. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It obviously means the division for us.
Yeah,
I think they're
for them
solely. Yeah, but look, yes, they could still potentially win the division. But I think they're in as a wild card. So
no, not yet.
Well, I mean
they're the 7 right now, but the Rams are 8-6. So
right.
Eagles take
care.
Eagles
So they
beat them.
need
They're lost. Yeah, they need it. Yeah, you're going to get their best shot. You're going to get their best shot for whatever that means.
Well, they don't want you winning the division on their home field either.
Yeah. Didn't we do that 2 years ago?
We may have.
I think maybe that last game of the year. I think that's
they're
when
obviously they're obviously better at home, Greg. They're
Yeah.
They're 5-2 at home, 4-3 on the road.
which makes sense.
We're 6-1 away, so that doesn't phase us one bit. And we're 6-1 at home. So we're the same team both places. So from the record, from what that says, right? We don't really change our stripes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's like a 27-17, 27-20 game. But I don't again, like I said the first time we played them, I don't see them getting over 20 versus us. I think our defense is too good.
Yeah. I mean, it's been playing that way for sure.
And they didn't light the world on fire this week either.
No. And you look at the potential dud that again, I keep going back to it, but you look at that dud we threw last week. I think again it wakes that defense up, right? That wakes that team up and say, hey, we can't let up. We can't stop here. We got to keep going. So I think while we're going to get Washington's best shot, I think they're going to get our best defense as well.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely. Division
it's a must win for us.
Yeah.
And the great thing I said earlier on the show, we don't have to get on a plane.
Yeah, that's been huge since LA.
So, I mean, we were talking about home this week, bus ride, train ride to Washington, one of the two. Then you're home 2 in a row. It's a great way to finish your season, especially
when like you said, if everything stays as it is right now in the next 4 weeks, then they're going to come back to town in 4 weeks too. So, you want to establish, you don't want to give them any hope. We always talk about it's tough to beat a team 3 times. But no, you know what I mean. But I'm saying I
don't like that.
They didn't win the second one yet. So I didn't put the horns on you. They didn't even win the second one yet. I'm just saying, you want to play well next weekend. You want to play well next weekend. So they're shitting bricks. They got to come back here.
Tommy's aborting real quick.
Yeah, I'm aborting.
In this atmosphere.
I'm aborting the chance of us winning 3 in a row versus them. I feel like they'll come here. We won 2 in a row. Everybody take them for granted. And then we lose. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. I can see it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Hurts has been great for them. He left with a concussion today, but he's been great for them.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a shoulder or a concussion.
Yeah, they said concussion. It looked shoulderish, but they said concussion. He made a tremendous catch. But, yeah, he's been great for them. A little fountain of youth. Okay, he found a little rejuvenation.
Quarterback's best friend too.
Nation's capital. Yeah, absolutely.
For their sake, they're happy that's a concussion and not the shoulder. Not that anybody's looking for concussions, but gets the guy back on the field quicker.
Speaking of concussions, Sidney Brown got smoked.
Yeah. Thought he died.
Paralyzed. Might have been paralyzed.
Who tears Achilles? TJ
Watt. He might have. I don't want to speculate anything, but the way it did seem like it was not one of those non-contact where he hit something, and it didn't look right.
Jesus.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look right.
Yeah.
Jesse says, love Brady talking about how much better Hurts is when he gets the ball out quick and not standing there for 6 seconds when routes are 90% over. Yeah, I agree, Jesse.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least hopefully people heard that today and didn't say, oh, Brady's a hater. Or Brady's a guy who had a quick trigger.
Yeah.
You know, Brady wanted to get the ball out.
Just an update, even though he's not an Eagle player. TJ Watt, it's an ankle. X-rays were negative. Doesn't seem to be serious.
Okay.
All right, good.
Yeah,
That's good
just
news.
low ankle injury.
I didn't check. Any update on that Dolphins kid? I mean, that dude took a shot. I don't even know his name, unfortunately.
No, I missed it. Busy watching Tua throw interceptions. Busy watching two interceptions.
Tua got him killed, essentially.
Yeah, it sounds par for the course. Poor guy. I didn't see it.
No, I mean, listen, yeah. Hopefully Dickerson's good. Lane was back in, so he was good. Dickerson was the one with Grant with the one. Landon was the one with the knee. Obviously, Saquon was back, but he was banged up. So
Lions lost another 2 defensive guys.
Kirby Joseph.
Guy got carted off.
Joseph was out too.
30th player in the game.
Who? Joseph?
Kirby Joseph.
What happened to him? I like
see
Kirby
it.
Joseph though. I mean, I don't want to say that, but like I don't promote the dirty, but I like if he's on my team, I would like him. I feel like.
Well, yeah, he's a hitter.
Was that a boat? Was that like a league boat, Greg, or was that just you?
No, it's just I mean, I think a league boat would absolutely maybe.
I didn't know if they had like a little,
Was that a league
I didn't know
boat?
if they had a bonfire. I didn't know if they had a bonfire and they
The
talked
league
about
boat. League boat.
No, maybe he didn't go out. I thought someone said I thought I heard he went out, but he didn't go out. At least when anything major. No, he loves going knee hunting. He loves going knee hunting on peeps.
Yeah,
nuking their ACLs. But yes, he's probably one of those guys where you're like, yep, I'll take him on my team. 100%.
Yeah, I thought that, and I like I said, I haven't been on, so you guys have been doing a great job. I will add, not that nobody gives a shit what I say. I thought, I thought the dude, I thought the Texans guy kind of got a bad rap. I think that's a late slide. I don't know what they expect defenders to do. You know what I mean? Today, same thing. I understand it's a letter of the law, but Fields, that's a late slide by Fields. And then Blankenship gets a penalty, for a shoulder to the head, So I thought Lawrence went down late, you know what I mean? And it's tough to stop, man. It's tough to stop when you're flying around the field. I don't know. You know what I mean? You want to throw him out. I'm fine with the penalty. I'm fine with throwing him out. And 3 games, I think let's get off our high horse.
I wouldn't have done.
Get off our high horse. That's what I
crumbed him. I crumbed him because I crumbed him
him
that week because I thought he led the way he led with his arms out.
Yeah,
he was trying to hurt somebody. The way he led with his arms out, like if you miss and hit a head there, right, and a guy slides late, I got you. But in that situation, I thought the way he attacked it just looked like he was trying to go for the head.
Yeah.
But I still don't think he should have been suspended 3 games. That's one game. That's one game.
Yeah,
it's the game you're in and you're back. Like
Like,
that's why I'm right with you, Sweeps. And I crumbed him that week and I'm right with you. 3 games is a joke.
I wouldn't debate that. I don't take that away from either one of you or anybody saying that. I just, to Greg's point about Joseph, there's a guy, Azir, that's never had any issues, and is a clean guy, stand-up guy, and I don't know, I don't think there's anything documented. You know what I mean?
Nothing suspendable, but he's had a history. He took a late shot at.
I'm assuming if Runyon's saying that, I guess it's true. I'm just going by, like I said, without sitting in my parents' basement, not not saying you know, with the lights off and watching every one of his games. I can't. Runyon, that's his job. So I'm assuming that Runyon's not full of shit. You know what I mean? I just go by his GM. His GM was very fired up, very emotional. Like this was, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't stick up for your players. It just seemed like he was a little bit over the top, about his character. Trying to screw that.
Listen, I think when you talk about, I think it's simple as this: when you talk about any really good defensive player, and I think he is one of those guys where I think he's really good. And when you are good on defense, you're going to be physical, and you're going to have some hits that people question. So I mean, if we want to call it dirty, then we can call it dirty. I call it playing football, and when you play this many games, and there's this many plays, and there's this many opportunities, there's going to be opportunities where you can't slow your body down because how fast you're going.
That's my point. That's the way I saw it. And again,
not that hit. That's the hit I didn't like. I didn't like that hit because the way he went with his arms like this, right? That's what I didn't like about the hit. Right? I would rather you, because this way you're going. I mean, you're going this way. When you leave with your arms, it's natural. You're going to come down, right? And he came down on the slide into his head. So that's where he could have helped himself on that specific play. I'm not saying, again, I never considered him a dirty player before that. Before that, I think I said 5 weeks prior, I don't know how he got brought up on the show, but that I would love him on my team. I think he's that good of a linebacker.
Like I said, I just go by, like I said, we know there's a lot of guys on TV. I go by, like, I didn't watch it 100 times. I just, without breaking it down like this, a brutal guy. I didn't say it was malicious. I just feel like I don't think you can stop. It's hard to stop yourself, And then I hear a guy like, Stink played offensive line. So it's not like he's a defensive guy defending somebody. You know what I mean? There's an offensive lineman that always had his quarterback's best interest, and Slayworth was like, I don't know what you want these guys to do. And I'm not quite sure what you want these guys to do. I mean, we're playing a physical game. This isn't touch football. And I get the dirty part and late stuff and, kneecaps and all that stuff. I get all that. You know what I mean? But when
it's hard.
It's tough to play. This is not touch football, man. Everybody knows what they signed up for. You know what I mean? You don't want to see anybody get injured.
What are you gonna
guys are playing
the guy?
Guys are playing
at
high level, man.
Stepping on a guy's foot.
High speed, man. This is high speed.
You guys suspend the guy 3 games for stepping on a guy's foot, for stepping on a guy's hand. Like, I mean, shit happens by accident too. Not saying that play was by accident. Just saying in general, like you got to assume a guy wasn't trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And you have to go off a guy's suspension track record. Right. How many personal fouls does a guy have? Right. Different things like that before you base, a 3-game suspension. That's my opinion. Maybe he does have a ton of personal fouls. I don't know. Right. He may. There might be a track record that I don't know about. And if there is, then I guess he deserves the 3 games.
Like years ago, it was so glaring. Like, and I don't think the Dominican Sue got 3 games. You know what I mean? Like, how many times that year did Sue stomp on people's faces? You know what I mean? Like, he was literally stomping on dudes. You know what I mean? And he might have got, maybe, like I said, I forget what I did yesterday. So maybe Sue got suspended. I don't think he did. You know what I mean? I think he might have got fined. But there was like 4 times that year when he was like curb stomping quarterbacks' heads.
Well, you'll see it like Jalen slides really early. So there's guys who do slide early, and there's guys who slide late. Like, I'll say Jalen Hurts is the guy, in my opinion, who slides early. Right? He makes sure he's down because he doesn't want to take that hit. He's avoiding. He's playing smart enough to say, I'm not gonna play with you. You know what I mean? Like, you see it, right, guys? Like, sometimes in the pocket too. It'll just be like, all right, I'm not playing. I'm gonna get killed.
Timeout.
Stupid. Yep.
Timeout.
Play dead. I'm gonna play dead. And other guys aren't smart enough to play dead quick enough. You got guys that are head hunting too.
No, that's what he did. That's what he did at the end of the half. He just laid down. Half is over.
Yeah.
Half's over.
Yep. They ran to the locker room. But the thing is, it's funny because guys do slide late though. Like Justin Fields, he slid late. Yeah. Right. I think Lawrence was borderline. Lawrence was close. Close. I thought he slid. I thought he slid early enough, but I could still hear where the people think that he slid late. Right? I'm not going down that hill. I thought, like, what do you want him to do? You know what I mean? He's trying to get himself up too early. So I thought his wasn't egregious, but Fields always slides late. Justin Fields the latest slider in the slide game. Right? If there's a ranking of late sliders, Justin Fields may die one day. And you guys remember, it was said at 11:39, December 15th on Agree Disagree. Justin Fields may die one day because of how late he slides. Just saying. He's what we call a late slider.
Dangerous.
Tua don't even slide that late. And Tua's died 5 times.
Tua don't slide.
Well, he's died 5 times.
Tua keeps diving head first.
He did today, too. Oh. There were some fans were hoping and some weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to retire. There was a few times he was trying to retire. I saw that.
A couple balls looked like he was retired.
Yeah, and keep throwing it to the team.
Couple of them did. And the one, it's like the one fantasy wise, I think the corner was running the fastest corner I thought in NFL history. I don't know if I saw a corner faster. And he took off, and I'm like, it was just me and the baby. Look at the baby, look at the baby, look at the baby afternoon. And he's flying. And I'm like, let's go, Ad. Let's go. Let's go. And I'm like, oh my God, I see A-Chain. You know, this guy's flying.
Well, they got 3 dudes. That's again.
And I'm like, is he going 95 in a 70? It's a
what-
70.
Slow
down.
Yeah, that's what Nerd Boy.
Slow down.
That's what Nerd Boy assembled. Nerd Boy assembled. They got 3 guys that get up to like 25 miles an hour. I mean, they can get a ticket at school zone. It's insane, bro. I mean, like, I think it was well documented last year. I don't know if it's 25. It's like 23.9 or something. You know, at full speed, like at chain, Bill. And I think Mostert, even though he's
Mostert
old.
too, yeah.
Mostert, cook. He can cook, buddy.
He can get up there too, but that's amazing. But the fact that he caught him, and I thought a great day because Tua threw 45 passes up to him, so we still got 18 points out of it. But that's like a 30 burger because if they score that touchdown, it's just such a change. Like I don't get the 80 yard, you know, we don't get the 80-yard return, so that's like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this son of a bitch, I'm like nobody's hustling that much. You know, nobody like knock it off. Nobody fucking show off.
Sweep said a delicious 4:30. The tide turned. The fantasy turned at 4:30 was woo. Josh Allen, St. Brown, Gibbsy, and even McBride had a pulse. Didn't score, but got up to 13. Sitting pretty now. He's got Bijan left. I think I want to say I'm up 50. So
We know Bijan ain't scored.
Right? Don't you do that? 186 to 127. All right. So 60 would beat me. 60 burger and Bijan. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm up like 30 or 40. This guy's got 2 guys tomorrow night. I got nobody left.
I mean, Allen had such a great. Allen's day was 45. I got golf on the bench 51 because I had Allen.
Oh my Lord.
51 out of golf and 45 out of Allen. Holy cow, Batman.
Yeah, Jetsy, I think I have to agree with that. I'll take Jalen Carter and Barkley over Bijan for sure. Yeah, sign me up for that.
And they wanted to, and I'm not saying he was helping Eddie, but they obviously wanted to throw all the shade over to Arthur Smith for Bijan's lack of touches. Well, he's not doing anything this year. I mean, he's doing a little bit better, but the team stinks.
Yeah, I mean he's good.
No, he's sure good, but
I mean he'd be delicious with this offensive line, I'm sure.
I think he would. Yeah,
Exactly.
But
yeah,
I'll take the way it
as
shaped.
currently constructed. Excuse me. You guys are fine. You know what I mean? You didn't know you were going to get Saquon, but as currently constructed, you're fine. And you know, obviously not as a feature back. I don't think I've ever shouted that. I don't think anybody else here shout that. Kenny Gainwell, I don't know why he got hate for a lot of years. That guy's always played hard. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's not a feature back. He is who he is. But dude comes in, he's a meat guy, and he'll run you over. And he's physical and does his job. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he does. Listen, I've always liked Kenny. I've always said he runs hard.
Yeah.
You know, he has no problem getting his beak wet. He'll run you over. He'll block. Always really like Kenny. And I've always thought he was the perfect backup. He's the perfect backup running back, right? If he has to carry it for a game, I think he can.
Yeah.
Right? I think if you ask him to start for 17, he might get exposed a little bit, right? But I think as a backup, I think he's perfect. I think he's perfect for that 5 to 7 carries, in that range, because he can be explosive too.
And the passing game too. I mean, he can catch the ball.
He catch the ball.
He made the two guys miss ridiculously.
That's third down screen pass.
Two guys in space, both. I mean, one to the left, one to the right. Just circle button and
I was gonna say circle. Yeah,
stuff down in space. So
we're hurdling guys backwards. We got the circle button. Our backfield is loaded. Our backfield is delicious. J Love, they are cursed.
100%.
The Sixers. You guys want to get in the crumbs?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I gotta shut this window behind me.
You're probably freezing.
Run, run hot-blooded, always running hot. Maybe not as much as Greg, but getting a little nip here, getting a little glass nipples here.
Insulation's running thin.
Well, they're my crumb. The Sixers are my crumb. I mean, how can it be anything else? I mean, I crumb the Niners guy like Matthew Walsh was talking about. That's well documented crumb. I don't even need to get into that.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's absurd. But and if nobody does, we will get into it for a minute. But I'll save it. But the Sixers is just crumb. Everything's a crumb, right? The first time that you get all 3 guys on the court together, and this guy gets hit in the face and breaks his sinus, the sinus gland or whatever the fuck. That's like never. I don't think it's ever been done.
I think it's probably the right description. Whatever the fuck.
Right. So, and this is where we're at, and it's just you really can't make it up. And it's time and again that this organization, through this process, has just been so cursed. And now Jared McCain.
Yeah.
And you can call it this not crumbing. I'm not crumbing anybody. I'm crumbing what we've been through. Right. Now Jared McCain has meniscus tear. So he's out indefinitely. So it's just like, dude, you think you have some hope, right? You're like, okay, now Embiid's out for a little bit of time now. All right, well, you still got Maxey, PG, and McCain. You're like, all right, that's enough scoring production. We can be competitive, right? Like we can go beat Charlotte on Monday night. Like we can go beat some teams this way and keep being winners of like 4 or 5, which we were doing without Embiid anyway, right? We were doing that. We only won that 1 game with him, right? But the 3 out of 4 was without him, right? So we showed we can do it. So now it's like, oh shit, now we're without him, and it's just constant, man. They'll bring you back in. It's amazing. Like 4 out of 5, you're sort of back in a little bit. You're like, okay, all right. First game back in the first game all season, all 3 play together.
All right.
Yeah. Like that's the sickening part of it. It's actually sickening. Like, what do we do? What do we do? What did he do actually do? As a player, like what do we do to deserve this? And then you get morons that'll be like, it's for the process. It's for tanking. Like that doesn't make sense because like Oklahoma openly tanked, and they're awesome.
Yeah,
right? Like Shea's awesome. They got their guy. All right. So why can't we tank? Yeah, Boston was tanking when they got Tatum.
Yep.
Right? Like other teams were tanking when they got their guys. I'm tired of it being just like, oh, just Philly did it because we were openly on the airways.
We said it. That's all.
Because we were openly like winless for whoever.
Because Hinkie said it. Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's where Hinkie said it, and that's where everything came on.
I'm crumbing the basketball gods.
Minnesota's still tanking, right? They've
I'm
never won anything, and they're terrible.
Yeah, I'm not even crumbing the Sixers. I'm crumbing the basketball gods.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. You're like, Tom, you're really doing this tonight? You're crumbing the basketball gods? Yeah, I'm doing this. No, John, this isn't why John, all these other organizations did the same damn thing, John.
Yep.
Like all the ones that are really good right now did it.
Spurs did it to get Timmy.
Yep. Like the teams.
The Golden State Warriors were a 10-year disaster. They stunk. They just didn't even try, and then they luck into Clay and Steph.
Yep.
So everyone does it. We just in theory got punished because Hinkie said it out loud.
Yeah, and like I said, Oklahoma City did it openly. Other teams did it openly. Oklahoma
100%.
City still has 27,000 picks. All right, because they openly tanked. They openly were just acquiring picks,
and they might win, they might win the championship.
Yep,
they're that good. Jinxie cat. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the in-season Garbaggio beans. They're gonna win that. They'll win that on Tuesday. All right, they got a chance to double dip. They got a chance to win them both.
Yeah, Johnny. I'm sorry, not Bill. John. I don't know why you like it. It's like you like the Sixers. Like it's like you're anti-Sixers, which is okay. Some people are, but like some of us like are 4 for 4 all the way, and we don't want to see bad things happen. Like we didn't deserve it. Like we didn't tank. At the fan base, we didn't tank, John. So when we laugh about it, like we're laughing at the fans who sat through it, the fans who are still sitting through it. Guys like myself, who I like watching them, right? I like watching them no matter what. I watched every game this year I could. Like, I'm not saying I was able to sit through all 4 quarters, right? You catch as much as you can catch. But, I've been invested into it.
Absolutely. Even during that time, I think we had conversations like that season we won 10 games. Like we weren't actively. I mean, I guess it was there was a plan. I get it, but as fans, you're watching and you're like, go in. Like you're not saying like, hey, I wasn't. We weren't rooting for losses. Like if the roster wasn't good enough, so we knew it was inevitable. Right? But I didn't sit down and watch a game and just actively root against them, even though it was probably in the best interest. I'm not saying people didn't do that. I'm just telling you, I didn't.
No, we were looking at certain guys.
I'm saying you guys weren't either.
We were looking at certain guys. We were hoping certain guys played well. Right, you look at certain young guys and you try to watch them, and hope that they played well in those games.
Yeah,
right, because you're looking for the next year because you knew, okay, I hope they win, but I know they're not going to, and you have no expectation, right? But
they played hard. They played hard in that 10-win season. You know what I mean? Like they weren't getting doored all the time. They played hard, but they played harder than this year.
Don't give you what, John? You don't got to tell me, I know how old you are. You don't got to date it. You don't got to tell me you're watching before me. I can only watch since 82, babe. You know what I mean? So I can't, just because you were there longer doesn't mean that you're more in than I'm in. We can be in it the same, John. I'm only born when I'm born. So don't give me that. You understand? Like I can't control when they put it in and left it. It worked. Like I can't control that, John. I can't control Big T when Big T wanted to get
frisky,
wanted to get jiggy with
Let's get it on.
You know what I mean? Getting jiggy with it. I can't, Sean. What I'm saying to you is, you blame the process. You blame openly losing, right? Right as the reason for this. That's bullshit. And you put it on the organization, and you put it on. Well, why does that have anything to do with a guy like Joel getting injured all the time, or Ben Simmons just deciding he doesn't care, or Markelle Fultz, who was one of the better scorers we've seen in college basketball, right? Forget how to shoot, right? I mean, come on, you think about it. If you think about what we went through, we didn't deserve that. And okay, fine, we got a guy. All you need is one of them, and we have him, right? And so you say, okay, we have him. And then you look at the list of injuries, and you say to yourself, we did not deserve that. when the generational's here, when we have the best thing that we've seen on a basketball court, when he's healthy, it doesn't get much better. You don't have to like the guy, but it doesn't have to get much better. It doesn't get much better. That's how good he is. So what do we do to deserve it? That's why I'm crumbing the basketball gods. All these other shit, Oklahoma City, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. It's a basketball city. It always has been.
Yep.
Always goddamn has been. I don't like the way the NBA's played. But now we get a dominant big man that can change the landscape of the three ball all the time. Right? And then you got John. Sorry, I keep calling you Bill because you sound like Bill tonight. Right? But I got guys like John. He's never healthy. Okay, I'm asking you why, John. What do we do to deserve that, John? What do we do? What did he do, John? Okay, we probably should have traded him. I don't disagree with that, but we didn't.
I think we said that on these airwaves.
Yeah, I said
we're with you, buddy. I mean, we were hoping to get a king's ransom at that point, especially even without the injuries, right? He had to stink of a loser on him, right? And I think, to a man, that's what we discussed. All right, generational talent is great. We know all that stuff. The injury history, of course, we were concerned about that, right? But we wanted to strike when the iron was hot, and can we get a Herschel Walker package? You know what I mean? Can we get 6 guys back? You know what I mean? And some picks. And I think we could have. But that's I don't know where that stands at this point.
So there's no big men that play in the NBA, right? No, none at all. Joker didn't win 3 in a row or 2 in a row or whatever. He's not a big man, right?
Come on. I mean, this makes me laugh.
I can't.
Like Wemby's pretty good.
Yeah,
Wemby's pretty good. He's pretty big too. I'm just saying he's pretty good and he's gigantic. He's a gigantic human.
That he is.
Like there's AD's pretty good.
Arguably the league's gotten taller across the board.
Yeah.
Like you now have like 6'6", 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, the game is different. I know.
The game is different. I get that.
Yeah. No, I'm not speaking for you. I'm saying I know what John's getting at with that comment. You know what I mean? The league has changed. You know what I mean? There's still tremendous big men. There's big men in the. There's still monsters in the game, but
that's why the league sucks right now.
Yeah, the league has changed. It becomes all 3 points. Everybody.
And that's why it sucks. No one's watching.
And including him. For a generational talent that he is, how many times do we have to scream at him? I know he can do other things. Get in the goddamn block and dominate down there. Like we know you can. Stop hoisting threes. I know you can make them. Right? We don't need you 7'2" and to be a finesse guy. We don't need finesse. But with all the injuries, I guess we want to wrap them in we wrap them in bubble tape and stay around the 3-point line. Because if he goes inside, he gets hurt.
Yeah, it's just simple. If it's a big man league or not, we had a big man who could dominate inside and out.
Yeah.
All right. We had a generational talent that was a big man. So, and the defense he brought to the table was tremendous. Okay. And he was a first team all defensive type guy. So those types of guys end up winning because he was that good on both ends of the floor. Right. And the injuries have killed and derailed his opportunity to win. And he's done a little bit of that too. Right. But his injuries have been a big part of holding him back, per se, at having more opportunities to win. Not necessarily losing him opportunity, like losing him games, right? But like more so, he's lost opportunities because of the injuries, in my opinion.
Yeah. But it all stems back to, what your original thing was. So it can be construed as a woe is me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not blah, blah, blah on you. I'm saying that could be what it could be construed as. But it's an actual serious question. You know what I mean? Like, what did we do to deserve this? Because, we had to endure not just the injuries, the missed number 1 draft picks, 7 bounces against the Raptors. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know how that season ends. You know what I mean? That's a 7 bouncer. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. John, we don't like the NBA product either, brother.
We're right with you, Johnny. Yeah.
I like a little Princeton offense.
Absolutely.
I like backdoor cuts.
No, it's an atrocious product. All right. That's why Greg doesn't watch, and if I watch, it's the last 5 minutes. But when the Sixers are, but when, like Tom says, when the Sixers are on, I watch them. Get disgusted early, and then I wind up flipping the channel. The last button works tremendous in my household.
Oh, they'll be on tomorrow night.
Not worn out at Sweeps' place.
Yep, they'll be on tomorrow night.
So we're speaking the same language there, Johnny boy. We're right around it, brother. We feel you. We're all frustrated. So I think that's where we're at.
Johnny, you read my mind. That's my crumb. My crumb is the Philadelphia Phillies and Dave Dombrowski. And
wow,
what the hell are you doing right now? You can't run this back. We've talked about this before. You cannot run this back. And for what the likes of Kyle Tucker, Devin Williams, even Cody Bellinger, for what they got, Garrett Crochet, for what they got traded for, the fact that we missed out on all of them is a disgrace right now. Is an absolute disgrace. I wonder if he's got something up his sleeve, because I can't even fathom right now running this back and saying that this is a good enough product when everybody else that's near us or above us is getting better. Right?
Yeah.
You got to do something. You got to do something. And I don't know if that's the asking price is too high for a guy like Bohm, or if you're unwilling to give up certain things. I get not giving up Crawford, not giving up Miller, not giving up Painter. But everybody from those three down is available. Right? So Kyle Tucker, in theory, Kyle Tucker should have been Bohm, Ranger, and then if you want Kaba, Tate, the catcher, or Mick Abel, who do you want? Right? Like, that should have been your package. I don't think Castellanos and Bohm was a good enough package that was going to entice Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Same thing for Crochet. Crochet, you give them all three of them. Give them Tate, Abel, and Kaba. Give them all three.
Well, the thing I would say with Bohm is I think teams are undervaluing him a little bit because we put him on the block, right?
Yeah.
So I think we heard that. I mean, that guy was an all-star before his injury. Sour end of the year. For sure, right? And we talked about that ad nauseum. But I think we hurt his stock a little bit because we reported him on the block prior to the block being open, right? And I think when you do that, sometimes you hurt a guy's stock. And I think that's what we did to ourselves with him.
I mean, he hurt his stock too, right?
Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but guys' numbers are their numbers. So
right, but his ending numbers weren't very good.
No, but you
right, and the last taste that everybody sees in the mouth, But he's the other side of it too.
But he was no different than everybody else.
I don't disagree.
That's where
the other side of it though is I guess teams aren't willing to lock him up long term, and I don't think the Phillies are either.
Well, he's 26 years old, so I mean, you're also playing the age into the factor of like if I'm the Phillies, I want good enough stuff for him too, right? Because I'll just pay him
100%.
Then if you don't want to give it to him, then you don't want to give him one back, then I'll just pay him. Because I'm not like I said, they're
paying him.
Well, then listen, then they need to sign Bregman. It's really that simple. They can't go, then they got to overpay for Bregman. So either way, they're paying money. So anyway,
they might pay him this year. I'm just saying they're not extending him. They're not like locking him down.
Well, they will if he goes and hits.
That's true.
If he duplicates it, if he duplicates his first half of the season all year long, they'll be paying him, Greg.
Well, for sure, yeah.
So if they don't, somebody will.
Yeah, but they're asleep at the wheel right now, right? There's nothing going on. I really like the Romano signing. I really like that. Barring he's healthy, though, right? Like
it's a good start. It's the right direction.
I like it, but again, they're hearing the rumors and the rumblings that Dombrowski thinks that one signing is enough. I think you're delusional. Like you need more than that. You at minimum lost 3 guys from your bullpen, and I'm not saying he was any good this first one, but you lost Marte, right? Hoffman's still out there, and Estevez is still out there. So in theory, you lost those guys. So you're going to only sign one, and then say you like what your bullpen is right now.
Yeah, that's where where your disappointment should stem from, because the lineup is locked in. I mean, obviously, if you
Oh,
can,
I
you can
get
move.
that.
You obviously, you can, you're trying. It seems like they're trying to move Bowman. They're trying to do stuff like that. I surely wouldn't be, mortgaging the future. And I know how we feel about picks, but it looks like Abel's pretty damn good, and so I have to be careful with that. But I know Crochet. That would be a hell of a bullpen arm. Lineup wise, there's not too much you can do. Like, you love to have
That's where
Tucker.
Bone's the piece.
You would love to, yeah, you love to have Tucker, but it's just there's $300 million guys in that lineup.
Sure.
That at the end of the day, or have to put the Windex on the mirror and take a peeky poo. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's how that season
I
ended.
disagree with that at all.
Yeah, that season ended. You know what I mean? We know the Mets were hot, but that season ended because Turner's dog shit, Schwarber's dog shit. Harp was, he didn't carry him, but he wasn't bad. And then Castellanos didn't have a bad playoff.
Yeah, I mean, Cassie was our best hitter down the stretch.
Yeah, exactly. So them two weren't detrimental, but they didn't do anything extraordinary. You know what I mean? But JT was an abomination. Bohm was abomination. I mean, you go right down the line. So, at the end of the day, it's a lot of zeros in that lineup. a lot of
100%.
A lot of zeros in that paycheck. You know what I mean? But but yeah, I agree with you. You got to do the pen.
Which is to my, I guess to my point is, I understand if you have the flexibility to be hard on what you think Bowman costs, right, or what you think his value is. But when you don't have that flexibility, like in 2 years, in theory, Alec Bohm, unless he's an absolute superstar, and he might be, but Alec Bohm is out of a spot for Ada Miller in 2 years.
Yeah.
In theory, right? Signing Bryce to play first base exclusively. We talk about that ad nauseum too, right? Like, it limits where you can make upgrades, especially with that cost. So Bohm is that price. So exactly, if we have all these spots tied up, then we got to be more flexible and say, all right, we value Bohm higher. I get it, but in order for us to make another part of our team better, then we're going to have to give up on that, right? Yeah. Or maybe it's Justin Crawford, right? Maybe it is. Maybe we do throw Justin Crawford to get Crochet, right? Well, and maybe that's what it has to be.
You're going to have to listen. If you want a guy, it's going to be Mason Miller, and you're going to have to give up Bohm, and you're going to have to give up a Crawford to get him, probably. Because what I read is that
and they hung up the phone.
They hung up the phone on Bohm for Mason Miller.
Yeah.
Right. So they want more. Yeah. Right. So you call him back and you throw Crawford in that deal, they probably do that deal. And then you go out and you got to sign Bregman. So you got to do a couple things there. Right. And
it's going to take more than that. I mean, listen, I don't have a crystal ball. And I know they're going to Vegas. There's going to be 4,000 people there, whatever. And they're not in the business of signing guys, but they know they got a lottery ticket in Miller. So that's going to be a 5-player or a couple number ones. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, it might not be. It might not be. I'm not saying it wrong, but I mean, they know what they're sitting on.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just
no doubt.
I meant the two big names. I meant the two big names in the deal being those guys. Right. There was obviously would be other prospects in the deal, but I meant like two big names would be Crawford and Bohm.
Yeah.
And there would be like other prospects, but not like household names.
No, but if you're calling them, you might as well make this you might as well sweeten the pot and add record to the deal too, right?
We should get on at the deadline.
39 homers. I mean, I didn't even realize that cat had 39. I mean, I know he had a great season, but
he hit just shy of 300.
If
not 300, like 280, 290.
Absolute monster. So
yeah. But speaking of that, real quick, do you guys entertain, since the top end free agents are weaning out, do you entertain a Pete Alonso for a year or two contract?
That's where I was going to go. I was just going to do the same question to you guys and tell you, you could DH and then you put Harper back in the outfield. But you steal him away from the Mets and
talk about protection for Harper.
The dude's been productive ever since he came into the league. He's probably second in homers and top in the RBIs. I don't know if it's the last 5 years or since he came in.
40 homers in your lineup.
Yeah.
Especially in that ballpark.
I'll take him in a heartbeat.
I'm to that point, absolutely. And then you take the three guys, Schwarber, Harper, and Alonso, and you just play a triangle of, either Alonso and Schwarber swap DHs every other game, or, then you do first base and same, you know what I mean? Put Schwarber in left field if you want to put Pete at first, although I think Pete wants to play first.
I agree, but I think Pete's probably a guy that wants to play first. DH this guy.
You give him like a deal like
you can talk about
Milwaukee gave Reese.
I'm not.
You know what I mean? Like a 1 year with an option. You're running you're just running out of options right now.
You can play Schwarber. You can play Schwarber in left too. So
yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, if you want to get
Schwarber left,
if you want to get Q lineup wise, that's probably the big one out there.
Yeah,
right.
If
you don't move Bohm and bring Bregman in, right, that's the big one.
Yeah, Bregman, and I love Breggs, but I get nervous with that contract that he's going to want.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm just saying that,
because again, it essentially works like with Bohm, right? In 2-3 years, you're going to want a spot for Aiden Miller. Especially if he's untouchable in trades.
Same concept. Yep, same concept. All right.
You would just have to get Q with Bregman. Almost like I'll give you 2 years, $50 million. 2 years, 100 million. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm just saying. Like,
I'll give you $50 million.
Right.
You don't want the length. You want to sell some more cigars, and you just give them the monster ATP, whatever the hell they call it.
And then 2 years, everything comes off, right?
Yep.
Nicky comes off. He comes off.
Yep. They sweeten the pot.
Well, yeah. In 2 years, you're hoping Miller, Crawford, and Painter are carrying Harper and Turner.
Yes.
Right. Like that's and Harper and Turner are like your
and Abel. Yep.
Yeah, if Abel's good, yeah. If he ends up being the guy, being good. I know Painter's definitely seems like he's the guy for sure. Abel's close. But
we'll never know until they pull the trigger.
But you never know until guys up.
Arizona fall league is cute, and the minor leagues are cute, but pull the trigger.
Until guys here, we don't know.
Let them rip.
Now I think Painter's going to be in the starting rotation when camp breaks, for sure, because he's just that good.
He should be.
He's better than what you're going to be running out there. I said another fun name even for that that other starter spot. Right, because you could always move Ranger to the pen, which I think
is a possibility.
Which is the move I make from spring training right on out the gate. I don't even waste time with it because now I'm limiting his innings.
Yeah.
Right, and I think he's way more effective throwing 70 bullpen innings than he is, trying to get him to 200 regular innings. It's not going to happen.
Fair.
So why not sign Painter? Obviously, your Painter will be here. He's your fourth, and then go like we talked about. Go give 90-year-old Scherzer a year deal as your fifth guy. Who gives a shit as your fifth guy? Go get you know what I mean? Go get a guy who maybe can get you some outs. He's better than Walker. He'll be better than Walker. Well,
you really go splash Shilla and you try to sign Corbin Burns.
I mean, that would be delicious.
Or give me the Japanese guy.
Yeah, I mean, great. That's why I'm not done yet. Like I'm not.
I hear you.
I'm not yelling and screaming yet because there's still an arm you could go out and do.
Trevor,
and I'm like, on the table. There's still meat on the table.
And I'm like, okay. Because right now we're still better than the Mets. I don't care. Like Soto's awesome. Lindor's awesome. They lost Alonso though. So you take 40 home runs away. I don't think their rotation, even though they mowed us down, I don't know how they're good they are at 162. Right? Yeah. That does matter. Okay.
Yeah, listen, Soto's good, but he didn't have Judge behind him. Who's going to protect him?
Well, and he's always had protection, right?
Who's going to protect him?
He had Bryce.
Well, no, Alonso kills them. If they brought Alonso back, they're awesome.
Yeah,
like that's why they're stupid. Like if they're spending stupid money, then you bring Pete back too, and now you have the three-headed monster. Now the young kids is protection. That's what they're banking on. The young kid, the third
Vientos.
base.
Vientos.
Yeah, so they're hoping Vientos is awesome. But if you have Alonso, Vientos, and Lindor and Soto, now you know you're awesome. See, I don't know. That's why I just think these organizations get cute. You're halfway in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could hit Lindor third, and that they can protect them that way. Lead off somebody else.
It's still halfway in now.
Yeah.
It's still halfway in because you
That's
can't
why.
lose.
That's what I
But an
just.
aging Lindor isn't exactly the greatest.
No, you lose 40
protection,
homers.
too.
You lose 40 homers. You don't tell me you get better, but it's by Soto.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
That's
they're
what I
not
think.
better.
Like,
The
being
Braves,
one-dimensional as he is.
We laugh at it. Yeah,
the Braves lose their best arm.
That's why we
They're
laugh.
not better.
We laugh
They're
at
not
the
better.
Yankees.
So, Greg, that's
laugh
why
at
I'm
the
not
Yankees.
flipping out.
We laugh
fair.
at the Yankees' misery. And just watching them, burn jerseys with no name on it. So, we laugh at that. It's obviously hilariously comical. But if they would just step back and breathe, they're better off if they play their cards right. Because you had to check. You had to check. Hi, it's me, Cashman. Not my money. I had 360. I wrote 360 down. He said no to it. So that means I got 360. I go get 5 or 6 guys. I'm way better than one guy. Give me anytime I get 5 or 6 instead of 1. I'm doing it. I mean, I understand it's cute and it looks beautiful, and I'm not taking anything away from Soto. But I'm just saying, if you're, I don't want to see the Yankees do that because we hate the Yankees. But if the Yankees, if they would just calm down and think about they could possibly get the Japanese guy, they can get Bregman. They already got Devin Williams.
They already got Max.
If you
Max
get
Fried.
Alonso, if you steal Alonso from the Mets,
And didn't they just trade for Bellinger too?
They just signed Max Fried.
yeah, Fried,
Yeah, they got
Fried went
Fried.
first. So 4 or 5 guys.
They already got a legit arm, right. So for 100 mil, right? It was like 150. So you talk about that 750.
So for them,
that 765 is the number, right?
Yeah, they can go Burns. They can go Burns, Alonso.
Yeah, they can get cute.
Maybe the Japanese guy. I don't know. So they can
do a lot of shit.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
So I mean, it's not always. It's only bad when you lose out on that guy when you're a small organization.
Yep, absolutely.
So like if you're Washington and you lose out on him, like it kills you. Or you're San Diego, where he turned you down for a lot of money, or who was it? Washington? Did he turn it down? Yeah, he turned Washington down, right? He bet on himself.
The Padres got a couple guys from the Yankees. That's
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Padres got
Yeah.
guys.
The Yankees. Yeah, sorry.
But the Yankees, I mean, they're the Yankees, so they got money, and it looks bad because you lose it to the Mets, but the Mets aren't better than the Yankees right now, so it doesn't really matter. Like I said, they're better if Alonso's still there. That's where people can make the case. And I'm not a big Pete guy, but it's still 40 homers.
Yeah.
So you
and 100.
You take out 40 and 100. Where are you replacing it at?
Yeah.
Soto replaces it. Sure, Soto replaces it. Fine, but I don't know if he's replacing 40
and
homers.
true protection.
Not at that ballpark, too. I don't know if he's hitting 40 in that ballpark ever. That's
Soto?
why I really thought. Yeah,
Soto get walked.
That's why I really thought this was the place. Like if he wanted to win, this and numbers mattered to him.
Yeah,
this was the place I'll come to for 500 mil, because in this ballpark he would hit $1 million. And he would win because he'd just be, but whatever. I mean, I prefer to spend my money on some arms right now because, like Sweep said, our lineup, it's our lineup. They got to go win.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It ain't much you're gonna do. You got to go win with these guys that you allocate a ton of money to. All right. Anything else, boys?
Yeah, I think Sweep's got to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get out of here. I mean, it's obviously the New York Giants. Well, first of all, it's not just the Giants, but the NFL in general. These owners, like, I know that's good. It's probably good for college football, but how does Belichick get out? How is Belichick not in the NFL? You know what I mean? And he didn't want to wait around, and he just, he was, even though jobs were going to open, he couldn't take that chance again. So I guess I don't want to mean it. When I say the NFL, I mean the powers to be. All right, the guys that are, not necessarily the owners, but these GMs, these guys that are in the front office brass, that their egos are too big because they don't want to give up power. Right? When this guy walks in, they know he's instantly the dude. He's a football guy. He's going to want control. He's going to want total control of the organization. And that's what the Patriots gave him all those years. So I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a balance, but it just feels like a lot of those guys. I think that's why a lot of those guys went the way they went last year, was because they need some yes guys. They need some younger guys that are going to be told what to do, and they don't want anybody, they don't want any pushback, and that's kind of sad to see. So on one end, it's good for college football. North Carolina hasn't been relevant in a long time. With the NIL, I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, that's a business. It's sort of like pro football, right? Except for the fact that if guys are going to say to him now, like, who's going to control that? Even though it's Bill Belichick, they're still going to say to him, well, what can you give me? Well, can you give me $1 million? Because they're going to give me $1 million. So it's just become, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, how dirty that's become. We had no problem with guys getting paid their worth and getting putting a little coin in their pocket. But now you're talking about, just demands, and you're talking about generational money, and the guys haven't even played in the league yet. So
yeah, I think he's gonna have his hiccups there, maybe a little bit, but I think they obviously got some money with the basketball program, so there's money obviously floating around down south there.
Yep.
And it's just
you got a huge recruit to stay.
Yeah, well, if they're going to
top quarterback recruit is committed again.
Yeah, if they're going to spend the money for Belichick, you think they're going to spend the money to try to win too?
Of course. Yeah.
No, and I'm sure the only reason he's going there is the support that we're opening up our NIL money, right? We're opening up checkbooks to sell, and I feel like they probably feel like if they fill that stadium, whatever it is, they're going to get their money back, just like Colorado did. Even though Colorado probably has a lot more, stadium, but I guess that's right. But to your point, how he doesn't have an NFL job is amazing.
Yeah,
when you look around the league and some of the head coaches, but you're spot on why he doesn't right now too. And the other side of it is, listen, there's money and there's divas and money in both levels. And in his mind, he's probably going to get a lot more money coaching in college football.
Yeah, like I said, he wasn't going to wait another year, man. He loves coaching, and I feel you. I feel you there,
right?
I feel you there, Beer. Yeah. There was a little bit of a tie there, so like I said, I get it. It's just like I said, you look around and there's terrible coaches out there, and you find yourself can't believe it that this guy's that guy's not in the National Football League, but it is what it is. So. And like I said, that's where, we laugh at it, because they're in the Eagles division, but the Giants are an absolute dumpster fire. And there's a guy that started his career there, was a defensive coordinator under Parcells, and a chance to bring a guy back home, and not putting this all on Dable. I know he's an offensive mind, but that's just what he is. Some guys aren't head coaches, they're just offensive coordinators, and they can do things with guys, but that, that organization is such a shit show. It's amazing. Just the 6 months they had with, Barkley, letting Barkley go out the door and asking for him, hey, give me a call back. Hey, would you promise us? Would you promise me to give me a call? Would you promise me to give me a call back so we give us a chance to match it? Yeah.
Well, I'll promise.
That never happened.
I'll piggy swear.
To people hiring planes. Flying over, it's incredible. Paper bags are flowing, in the city that never sleeps. What a horrible organization. So hate to say it.
Could happen to a better fan base.
Hate to see it. Good work, boys.
Great work.
Yeah.
All right, fam. Thanks for joining us. Go Birds, 10 in a row. Going to try to make it 11 next weekend for the division next Sunday. Listen, feels great to be a goddamn Eagles fan. This has been a great only on HUD Radio. Have a great week, everybody. We love you, and we'll see you next week. We out.